Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Slice of Gaming podcast, episode 92 for April 5th, 2025. Today is a very, very big week for news. We had our big Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Lots and lots of stuff coming out afterwards. We're going to try to break it all down because, man, is it a clusterfuck situation. But also, nothing else happened in the news world, so we could pretty much almost entirely focus the episode on Nintendo Switch 2, which is exciting. Joining me today, I am the Uncharted Wolf, and I am joined by my boy Bench.
Nintendo Switch 2 is very hype.
I'm also joined by my man Jat.
Yeah, how's it going? I'm probably I'm probably gonna have to defend my country against people coming in.
Well, you got like $700 for a Switch 2, right?
Yeah.
God bless. And then I'm also joined by Bob.
Yeah, I don't know how long I can stay. Potentially, I'm getting tariffed by the end of the day, so I might have to leave and figure out my financial situation.
You're from Florida. You don't get tariffs there, right?
Well, I'm not in Florida now, but I'm also. Let's not worry about it.
We'll get into all that. Lots and lots of stuff come out after that Switch 2 Direct. But before we even get into it, if you guys want to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite podcasts are found. We are on there. Find us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming, and also like the podcast on YouTube. Any type of support helps. But with that, I think we're ready to move right into it. Our boy Jackie G, shout out to him. He kind of like put a big list of everything that was at the Switch 2 Direct to kind of like help us organize. Because, I'll be honest, guys, this is like a genuine side note. I always hate the GameSpot and the Polygon, like everything that was announced at the Game Awards, everything that was announced at this Direct. And I'm like, okay, sweet. And here's the way my brain works. I want it all in order of announcement. But they're like, we're starting with the biggest announcement. Donkey Kong was announced. It's like, that was the last thing in the Direct, you idiots. So that always pisses me off. It's like the tiniest thing, but I'm like, put it in order because I like doing it in order. We're going to try to go in order for everything that was announced. Now, of course, there is all the stuff afterwards that we'd have to talk about, but I do want to get into that later. I want to get into the actual Direct first and kind of point out everything that was announced there. And then we get into stuff like the pricing, the whole situation with the tariffs, everything like that. But with that, I think we're ready to start. I'll ask you guys right now, what is your overall like kind of rating, thoughts on the Switch 2 Direct as a whole? I mean, this was a 2-month in the waiting Direct, and I don't want to get into everything afterwards, but just like purely the Direct on its own, and then we can kind of talk about the situation surrounding everything. I'll start with you, Bench.
I'd give it probably a 9 out of 10, just as a Direct. I think it was more third party than we were focusing, but looking back, it's probably something we should have expected, because this is where the third parties are going to show up, and they really showed up, and we'll get into that later. But I think what Nintendo did bring were some, like, real bangers. And what really wowed me was the hardware, because just overall, I think that exceeded my expectations on what I was expecting the Switch 2 to be power-wise and just how it ran. So I couldn't be more happier on what they showed.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think I kind of share the same rating with you, a 9 out of 10. I think this is the case where it was a primarily third-party hardware-focused Direct. We got first-party stuff, but it was almost like, hey, here's stuff that you're going to expect like in the next like few months of the Switch, like the first 2 months of the Switch, effectively, or maybe 2-3 months with a certain other game that kind of just got a big 2025 date, which we'll get into later. But for the most part, they were like, hey, we want to just show off like what is happening around that launch cycle while also giving third parties a chance to go, hey, we're supporting the Switch 2 as well. But yeah, I think I'd give it that 9 out of 10 as well. I think there were a lot of great surprises. It flowed very well. I think they did something I truly was not expecting. I may have talked about this last week. Was not expecting them to talk about specs at all. I'd never thought in my lifetime, as a hardcore Nintendo fan, I would ever see the words 4K in a Nintendo Switch Direct. But we live in that timeline now. And I, like you, Bench, I'm actually surprised with the quality of this piece of tech, especially considering as a Nintendo fan, the words 4K never really seemed plausible, but it seems like they're going very hardcore for this thing, and I'm really excited to see what the future of the console is, to an extent, because everything afterwards really tempered my excitement. Jat, I want to get into you. How do you think about the Direct?
Yeah, so the presentation as a whole, 60 minutes of like pretty good content. Like there's a lot of things that a lot of people would get hyped for. I'll admit, like compared to the Switch one, where everyone's like, "Yeah, I can play Skyrim on the go." Switch to, I was not as excited to like play something like Cyberpunk on the go,
Yeah.
But but yeah, it was really solid. Direct the specs, 100%. Like I was surprised when a game they showed had like performance mode. I'm like, whoa, this is Nintendo, and
Mhm.
even even though it's not OLED, the fact that the screen still has HDR and 120 frames, it actually surprises me that they're really going in, because I thought they would cheap out on the handheld part and maybe still support 120 frames like dock mode. So, but yeah, I'm like excited to see what they do, because now it feels like they are like with the Switch, they were still behind like the current that gen with PS4 and Xbox one, but now it seems like they're not that far behind the current gen.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm right there with you. It seems like they're. I mean, we kind of talk all the time on the podcast of like, oh, the PS5 and Series X generation still really hasn't felt like it got started yet, and you still see games releasing for PS4. And I think I look at the specs of this console. It's like, and obviously we have Bob here to kind of like really nail down what the specs are because I'm an idiot. But I'm like, yeah, I think it can at the very least keep up for a good while. It's not going to get the big PS5 exclusives in the future, or Series X exclusives when games really start utilizing that hardware, but that's fine because for the most part, people are here for the Nintendo games and a lot of the third party stuff. Bob, I do want to get into you then. Like, how are you feeling about this direct as a whole?
Yeah, the anticipation was so high that I decided to wake up an hour earlier and sit in the parking lot where I work for an hour in my car to watch this direct on my phone, because otherwise I would have been during my work commute and like getting in. So I was
I
super
respect that.
excited, and yeah, right. Like literally, I think I would like look up and people are like walking into work and they're like, "What is this dude doing on his phone?"
What is
Like in
wrong
his
with this
car.
weirdo?
Like is he really not want to go in? But yeah, I mean I'm with you guys. I think it's a 9 out of 10. I think they did a good job showcasing both the system and the hardware and the software, both third party and first party. Um, I do think there's just always some weird Nintendo decisions if
God bless
scattered
him.
throughout, and obviously some things that they held for afterwards to kind of like before even like the actual like news changing stuff, but like even just like they hid some information until afterwards, which is to be expected. But um
Mhm.
I think overall though, as a presentation, I thought it was really good. And I definitely am excited to dive into kind of the breakdown of it all.
Well, let's dive in right now. I mean, we have a lot of stuff to get into here. So the presentation starts in straight up cold open Mario Kart World. A lot of stuff was revealed about this game, especially afterwards, which I want to get into later. But specifically at the start, they showed off the gameplay trailer and talked a little bit more about the game. And they also announced a Mario Kart World Direct April 17th. They showed a lot more of the game in Nintendo Treehouse both days. We know this is effectively their launch title. Kyle Bossman had delayed input. He kind of put it perfectly, where it's like Nintendo Switch 2 is launching with its best-selling game, and that's pretty much expected out of Mario Kart. It always seems to be like one of the best-selling games for any piece of Nintendo hardware, and it looks like with this game it'll be no different, even considering the price. But I mean, let's talk about Mario Kart World. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Mario Kart fan, but looking at this trailer, it's like, yeah, this gets me really excited. We have been waiting. We've been sitting with 10 years of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So the fact that, or 10 years of Mario Kart 8 specifically. So just seeing a new Mario Kart game in general is exciting. But it seems like this isn't just going to basically be, hey, we're doing Mario Kart 8, like a game that's already been polished to high heaven, and like, oh, it just looks better and that new track's just like, no, they're actually doing something new. Bob, our prediction was right. It's Forza Horizon with
We
Mario
won.
Kart. We won, man. It's like I look at this game and it's like, damn, this looks incredible. Like both visually, animation wise, is stunning. And then we look at the actual like racers, how there's like 84 of these fuckers. Is the penguin from Mario 64? Because
Cow.
the cow, the fucking cow, man. It's like
Moo Meadows.
the roster list is insane. Um, But you two have definitely been the ones talking about it. Bench and Bob, you two have been talking about this game the most. So tell me, how are you feeling about this Mario Kart world?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the Mario Kart retrospective, like what we want out of the next Mario Kart, and yeah, I feel like I can, brag a little bit because I feel like I nailed it on the head. Like they waited 10 years for that next generation or next like defining moment to really separate World from its previous, from its predecessor, and I think they accomplished that with what they're going for in World. And also too, it's pretty funny the reveal trailer. Like you see the map and you see it's called World, but they didn't actually explicitly state like a free roam or you can go anywhere until like halfway through the video. And I'm like, is it open world or not? Because I feel like I'm getting teased out of like crazy right now. But I do, and granted, I'm gonna steal a little bit from like the what I saw of the treehouse footage, but like it's very interesting that it's you usually start with a circuit as like a standard 3-lap circuit as your first race, and then the next two races are more of the what you would start to see in Mario Kart 8 with the marathon tracks, where it's technically a sprint separated into three parts and called 3 laps. And then the final one, at least from what we saw, it was 8 laps and it was another sprint, but like the actual rate, it was an actual track at the end that was like 4 laps or something. So it's an interesting breakdown, and I think it just shows like the evolution of Mario Kart, because like I was expecting it to be 4 circuits and then 4 sprint tracks, but it's like no, this still like I think like at its core is still like a Mario Kart game. Like we like obviously we'll get into like the free roam stuff, but if you just want to do like the cups and you're like, oh, I don't want to, like, you don't, I feel like for the most part, unless you want to unlock things, and we don't know everything about the progression. There's another direct later this month that kind of go more into Mario Kart World, but like if you just want 4 races and play the cups, and like our British correspondent, Mr. G, like it seems like you can still do that. Like, and so I think it kind of is like a win-win for both sides. For the people who are like, oh, we want a more open world, seamless, connected, big world for Mario Kart game, but then the people are like, no, I just want to go in, play my 4 races, play my cups, and like that's all I want Mario Kart to be. I feel like they somehow managed to like split that down the middle way better than I thought they could. So yeah, and then not having, I'm glad we're getting rid of customized carts. Just give me like a preset. I don't, and we talked about it too with, and I guess it could still kind of go this way, but like I don't like, what's the point of customization if everyone's just going to pick Yoshi with the same bike and the same tires and the
Yeah,
same
exactly.
thing. Like I'm hoping that there's some more variety here, and obviously with 84 racers I feel like there has to be.
Just remove the stats, man. Like, let
Yeah,
me do what I
yeah,
want.
or at least make it like kind of more, I don't know, yeah, I guess removing the sets would make it a
But
level playing field, but
make it more
um
cart dependent if you want to do stats. I'm fine with everyone racing in the same car if it's the meta car, but like
right.
I do not want to play Yoshi.
Right, for sure. And then yeah, the being able to rail grind, being able to jump onto walls, the new items, having 24 racers, I feel like is a
Mhm.
little bit more chaotic. The visuals, like you said, it looks amazing. When you are free roaming, I think the craziest thing is that the mini map is not like a traditional mini map. It is literally a camera pointed like 300 feet above you looking down, because if you noticed on the, again, this is more of the treehouse stuff, but
Yeah.
when you go under a building the minimap disappears, and then when you are out in the open it can like see in real time the item boxes spinning at the same speed that they are on the main screen. So it's like, it is so funny that Nintendo's like, oh, you can do a minimap, or you can just stick a camera up there so it looks like a giant bird's eye view. um, but yeah, I'm super excited. For me, we'll probably talk about price later, so I don't want to get into it here. But like, I know for a lot of people, this is like a step up in price, and it's like I don't know if I will be able to justify it. I think Mario Kart has proven time and time again that they can justify it even before going open world, but I feel like there is going to be a level of replayability and exploration that we have never seen in a Mario Kart game, and I think that's super exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
like everything you're saying is right, and especially, dude, the tracks, unreal. The track design. Bench, I want to get it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything Bob said, but just looking back on 8 Deluxe, it really was like the deluxe version of Mario Kart. It had almost every single track and pretty much every single character the series has had to date, with including the DLC. So going from there, it just wouldn't make sense for them to port everything again. So I'm really glad they took and just completely reinvented what Mario Kart can be. And just, I still think we've only seen the tip of the iceberg of this game. Because I think they've had a lot of time to really pack this. And there's a reason it's a launch game. They're super confident in it. And I can't wait.
Yeah, 100%. It's just one of those cases of like they know what they have. They know that this is effectively
Mhm.
going to be the game that people will buy a console for no matter what because
Yes.
it's Mario Kart. They want to play the new Mario Kart game.
Oh yeah.
Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, so because I really loved both 8 and 8 Deluxe collectively between both consoles, I probably spent at least 100 hours in this game. And I'm like, all right, with 8 Deluxe, even after the DLC, how can they top this? Because it's going to be really hard to top a package like that, right? They found a way. And they found a way to innovate it as well with like all these like first off the costumes are interesting to me. I'm curious if they will have any effect like mechanically because we saw some of the characters like switching midway, right? Like randomly into their into other costumes, um and like we were saying, all these other characters that are were just like NPCs or enemies that are now playable,
Yeah, just a
including
large variety.
yeah, a large variety. Yeah, which is very interesting to me, and I think that they're definitely gonna like have some a good mix of like both. Like obviously they always have some the retro courses like Toad's Factory's returning, but I'm very curious how the whole like um how everything's gonna work with all of it being like connected and also what other modes they're gonna show in the direct.
Yeah, no, I mean like they showed a good amount of the modes already. I love the mode where you're effectively playing a battle royale and you just like
Yeah.
keep driving an event
Yeah.
like, oh, 8th place, like you have to be in the top 8. Now you have to be in the top 4. Now you have to win. It's like that is really fun. And just the fact that the Grand Prix is effectively connected via each other through the whole open world, that's incredible. Like that's how you evolve the franchise because we're looking at a franchise that's effectively been, let's say, stale, but like you buy a new Mario Kart game. What's the expectation? Uh, what's it called? 32 new tracks, 32 retro courses. Wait, no, is it 32 or 16 new tracks, 16 retro courses, 32 overall? As Grand Prix, time travel, the same stuff that like every Mario Kart game has, and we love that. But it's also like it's been 11 years since the last one. You can't just do that again. You have to do something completely different, shake up the formula in a major way, while also having a lot of those classic Mario Kart isms that people love. And I think this is a great middle ground of like what they want to do with this next installment. And by the way, we still haven't seen everything. I mean, there is a whole ass direct dedicated to this game in a couple weeks, so there clearly is more they want to show off about this game and probably even explain like why are there so many enemies. And I think also, Bob, we were talking about it like what can you do in that open world? Is it just oh, you take photos, but like is there stuff that you can actually, I did see a rumor that effectively you take pictures of the enemies and that's how you add them to the roster. I think that's awesome. I
Yeah,
hope there's
good
more
idea.
outside of that too.
Also, to photo mode. Hello.
Yes. Let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, no, man. Nintendo's reaching the modern era. This is a surprising twist of events. It's like, it. Listen, man, I love the Switch, but sometimes I use it. I'm like, man, this thing feels old, and it's like everything I've seen here. It's like I'm so excited to see where the next evolution comes from. But yeah, that's everything Mario Kart World for now. A lot more about that game later. Next up, they showed off game chat. So this is
C
what
button,
the C
baby.
button. Yeah, the C button that we talked about a lot, and it is effectively party chat. You press the button, and you're in a like. Let's be honest, it's Discord. It has,
Yeah.
dude, it legit. When they first showed it, I was like, "Is it Discord?" It's like, no, it's not Discord. It's their own version. It's like, but it's basically Discord, and you have all your icons, and you can all play the same game and share each other's screens, or you can like, you have the Nintendo Switch 2 camera, which you can attach to the console and show yourself playing the game. Listen, I'll be honest. I'm glad Nintendo's reached the modern era of finally having party chat. I have no use for this, but it's completely inoffensive. It's like whatever. It's just one. But though it is funny, Kyle Bossman pointed something out. I keep referencing him because he kind of nailed this. Though it's like this is the first video game button on a controller they have to pay for because you need NSO. And it's like that is very funny to think about. But
Wow.
wait, you guys have much to say about the game chat feature?
Yeah, so the thing I love, like I haven't used it on my PS5 yet, but on the Series X, I love how seamless like the Discord integration is, where I can just hop on with a friend and play like Fortnite while I'm still playing my Xbox game. And I kind of wish they did that with the Switch too, because it would just be so much easier. But they're trying their own thing, and because it's Nintendo, like they have their own like Zoom backgrounds and stuff with the camera, which is crazy. But yeah, I don't like that it's only limited to the online play, but I do get why, because like why would you be calling if you're not playing online?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Uh,
glad it exists.
yeah, right.
It like took like it's like guys, we're
Yeah.
getting Xbox 360 features.
Yeah, it's
it's
20
funny.
years ago. Like that's crazy.
Exactly.
I will say though, going back to the Discord thing, I'm really glad it's not Discord. Because one of this is going back to the Xbox One, but one of the big things that held back the Xbox One performance wise was that like picture in picture and like DVR mode, because basically I think it was like it took so much resources to be able to show like a 30 or 60 frame per second image in the top of your screen, that devs could not be able to have that going and then like have be able to develop as hard as they could for the game itself. And so like obviously PlayStation, PS5 and Xbox Series X are more powerful, and so they can kind of handle that. But when it came to the Switch, I was like, oh no, oh honey, you are not like you are not equipped for this. So I'm glad that one, it's not Discord, because Discord's a CPU hog no matter what. Like even on Xbox and PlayStation, it's a CPU hog. But also like uh, with the camera, and like we didn't talk about it, but like in the direct they show like, oh yeah, your microphone's like 5 feet away and someone can have a blender on,
Yeah.
and they'll be able to hear you. We'll see, but it's very obvious they're using NVIDIA broadcast technology.
It's like an
In,
AI thing to kind of like cancel out background noise, correct?
right, and that's baked into the GPU, and it's also the same thing that looks like the Zoom like green screen effect, where it's taking the camera and taking out your background, so it's just like screenplay on the background. Um, those are very smart features, and like I know everyone was like, "Oh my god, the screen share is like 10 frames per second. Who like needs that?" And it's like, yeah, I don't know how much the screen sharing is really going to be used, but I would much rather be at 10 frames per second than to be at 30 or 60, and then your game is running at 10 frames per second. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care. Like the frame rate of the screen share. If you want it, great. Like it'll work. But I'm glad they didn't compromise the like actual game playing ability just so that they can have this feature.
Yeah, and you're not really actively watching your friend's screen most of the time. You're having the screen share on a Discord. You kind of just glance at it every now and then to see what's going on, and talk shit about their Marvel rival skills. I will say one thing. I do think this is great for kids because a lot of kids. I'll say this, like if I was a parent, like I wouldn't want my kids on Discord at like age 8. But they want to play with their friends. It's like this is a good alternative. This is like a way for kids to be able to connect with their friends. They showed off the parental controls and how Bowser let Bowser Jr. play with Goomba. God, I love Nintendo. They're so funny. But little things like that, it's just like, yeah, that's cool. Like, this is not for me. Yeah, effectively, which is fine. Like, at the end, it's inoffensive. It's like, it's not like I have to use the C button or anything.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about Game Share. This is really cool. Nintendo DS Download Play is effectively back. This only works with supported titles, and they only showed like 6 games, which I'm curious how much more they'll add in the future. But effectively, like, hey, if we're playing like Clubhouse games, I can send you the game on your Switch, and like we can like you can temporarily play it, and we could just like play a game together, which is awesome for Clubhouse games because I'm like I can never get people to buy the game. I always have to be like, oh guys, seriously, it's really good. So I could just like game share with Bop and we could play President together or something like that, which
Hell yeah.
that's really awesome. I listen, when I saw game share and I saw the virtual game card last week, I'm like, Nintendo's being a little pro consumer lately. Something's fishy going on here. They're not usually this nice. Moving into kind of the first game they showed after Mario Kart, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. This was one of the funniest things to look at the reactions for because it's effectively their tech demo of showing off like the features of the Switch 2, and everyone's like, "Wow, this looks really cool. This looks really interesting." And it's like the excitement, and then at the end they say, "This will be a paid digital game," and everyone at the same time, paid. Everyone just expected this to effectively be the Astrobot. Me alongside that, I was actually really excited for some type of thing like this, but listen, it's $6, which is also again why pay for like why make it paid? I just don't really understand the mythos. But then Gene Park brought up this point that makes more sense of like Reggie had to fight for Wii Sports to be a bundle for the Wii because Nintendo just does not believe in pack-in games. They don't like the idea of like giving away their work, that type of thing, or eating the costs. So yeah, really stupid that this thing is paid for. Otherwise, it looked really cool.
Well, and
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, go ahead, Benj.
something they showed on the treehouse just sold me more. Like the individual like mini game type stuff definitely sold me more. And I'm a Nintendo fan, so I'm still gonna buy it.
Yeah, and the guess the frames game is interesting.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm sucker. I'll buy it.
Oh, I'm going to try and track down that Japanese physical edition. I need that on a cartridge.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They're doing it physical in Japan.
I'm a freak. But I think the one thing here, like when people compare it to Astrobot, like no offense, Astrobot was like a legitimate game that just also kind of was like showing off features of the PS5. This very much it screams tech demo way more than that, and they want to charge it. I'm like,
these
oh,
nondescript
Nintendo.
characters.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. I listen. It's like because again, it looks good. Like it looks like a fun like experience. The guess the frames. They show off the 4K. But like this is all stuff that is legitimately, like you said, a tech demo to show off like this is how the console will run. Right. I don't really understand why non-psychotic people like you, me, and Bench who buy everything Nintendo does would buy this because it's just like, oh, it shows off the features of the console, but you have to pay for it, and it's just again a showcase we're getting to later of like we're in that nickel and dime era of Nintendo. Just be prepared for it because they succeeded with the Switch, and you know from Wii U to Switch, it's like they needed to sell people on a console, so they were like being more willing to try to help you out, do cool things. But now it's like, well, no, we know the Switch 1 was a success. We know this will be a success, so we're going to try to extract as much money as we can out of everyone. Then we get into specs. Truly and honestly, the most shocking part was that they said specs. I thought they would have Nintendo-ismed it up, but no, they actually went into it. Wario 64 kind of wrote this up to kind of make sure we get everything. Switch 2 screen is 1080p up to 120 FPS. Bob, what is that compared to the Steam Deck? I actually don't know.
The Steam Deck is 800 or was it 1280 by 800, so like 800p, and that's also because it's a little bit taller. But still slightly better than 720, which is where the Switch 2 or Switch 1 screen was at, both OLED and LCD. And I believe the newer ones can hit 90. they definitely can't hit 120. I want to say the ROG Ally hits 120, but still
But that
very
thing's
impressive
that
from
thing's a
Nintendo.
laptop. That thing is so
Yeah.
huge.
Oh, and also the Steam Deck LCD doesn't have HDR. This one does. The Switch 2
Oh,
does. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. LCD screen with HDR support, which, God, dude, thank God it's HDR for the console and the handheld. Because I'm like, dude, I can't look at games without HDR the same. Magnetic Joy Cons, which we knew about, they just snap on, and apparently to everyone at the kind of the Switch 2 event that happened, it was very clean. Like it effectively never felt like it was gonna fall off or anything. It's like no, it just snaps on perfectly. Bigger SL and SR buttons, larger control sticks. Nothing about Hall effect. New York Times posted an article about that and then immediately took it down because apparently it was just wrong. So that's interesting. I'm curious to see what the actual joystick will be. Mouse controls confirmed. Improved speakers / clearer audio. A built-in mic. 3D audio. New stand, which if you remember the Switch One stand, it's this tiny little flap that can barely even hold up a console. Which I thank God they're making a new stand. Two USB-C ports, one on the top, one on the bottom. 256 gigabytes of internal storage, which means it can hold one Call of Duty game. New dock supports 4K, a word I never thought I'd see in a Nintendo presentation.
And
Fan ventilation
1440. I do
and
want to.
1440.
That is like actually genuinely huge because I one of the consoles, it was either PS5 or Series X, I forget which one, did not support 1440
Yeah.
at launch,
Oh, it was
and like
PS5. Yeah.
that is such a great middle ground, and I'm glad they're giving that option right away.
I think they confirmed as well that a lot of
Yes, that's-
the Switch 2 editions are 1440.
Yeah, no, 1440 is an awesome like kind of middle ground. Like we don't
Mhm.
like not everything needs to be 4K if you can't hit the 4K. So it's like yeah, go down to 1440. That's fine. And then fan ventilation in the dock and backwards compatible with Switch One with physical and digital games. So lots of stuff tech wise. I mean, me and Bench brought this up. It's like this is very impressive. It seems to.
Mhm.
I see a lot of people bringing up the Steam Deck. It's like no, this thing is stronger than the Steam Deck, and
I agree.
obviously the Steam Deck's incredible. But like, it, Bob, I actually do want to bring this up. So there was a thought about the fan in the actual handheld unit of the Steam Deck, and how the Switch 2 doesn't have that. What explain it to me like I'm 5.
Wait.
Like what's the deal with everything there?
Wait, is it confirmed? No, there's got to be a fan in the handheld
There's
as well.
gotta be a
Oh.
fan.
Yeah,
Is there
that's
not?
not.
Oh.
There's no way there's not a fan in the handheld.
Okay, maybe
There's so basically,
Navi's a liar.
no. I know what he was trying to say. It's because the fan because there's a fan in the Switch One. Like you can hear it
Oh,
running.
okay. I guess I
Like
just, I
in
misheard,
certain
my bad.
moments. No, you're good. The reason the fan in the dock is important is because, and me and Navi were actually talking about this. The reason Steam Deck can and we'll talk about it in some of the third-party games. The reason the Steam Deck can run games a little bit better is because the heat dispersion on the actual console, because the grips are so wide, you don't actually feel it in your hands. But it's also, Valve says, your hands can get a little bit warm, not the end of the world. And it's even worse on the ROG Ally or the other like handheld PC handhelds. They don't really care if your hands get warm and arguably hot. Nintendo does. So Nintendo doesn't want the Switch to run too hot because they don't want you to feel uncomfortable or like freak out and be like, oh my god, this thing's on fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
But but there was, and on the Switch One, there really wasn't like I know there was a docked and a handheld mode, but there wasn't really much of a difference between the two. And as we'll get to, there is a difference between the dock and handheld, a much larger difference between the dock and the handheld mode on the Switch 2. Obviously, the dock supports 4K. And to do that, the Switch 2 needs to run hotter. So not only will the internal fan help, but having a fan in the dock will add to that cooling to help it run at those higher temps. But it will be running at higher temps because you're not holding in your hand, so you have no idea, like,
Okay.
how far it's being pushed.
Gotcha. Okay. Again, clarification. I'm a Nintendo fan, so I don't know anything about specs. So that's a very important distinction. Thank you, Bob. But yeah, that's everything tech wise. I mean, yeah, me and Bench were saying like it's very impressive. I mean, Bob, like you look at these specs, you're like, yeah, this is gonna be run for a while. Like where it's not gonna just like slow down and kind of jog behind modern day consoles.
I don't think so. I think Jad kind of mentioned it. Nintendo has clearly brought the gap closer between the parity of like the new Series X and PS5 to where like the Switch One was, obviously, and you're seeing that with the third party support. Um, it is kind of funny that games like they have 4K support and it runs up to 120 frames. I would be shocked to see at the end of the Switch 2 life cycle what games are still able to be run at 120 or at 4K. But it's good that they have them now, and obviously Nintendo first party is going to take advantage of that throughout the lifetime of the Switch. But from everything I've seen, it pretty much lines up with what we heard. Because we still don't know like what's in this chip, and we won't know until we get it and someone is able to take it apart. But by everything I've seen, and by what people are reporting, this is very much sits comfortably in between the PS4 Pro and the Series S, and I don't think it needs to be anything more than that, especially because of DLSS. I think that is the big game changer from the last Switch, is being able to upscale things is such a huge benefit that I think this will definitely, I think, age better than the Switch One did. So yeah, I'm definitely like, I am not disappointed, and I am, if anything, a little bit surprised at some of the higher end capabilities, at least at launch. We'll see how long that lasts, though.
And then they go into Nintendo Switch 2 edition games. So they talk about how a lot of games on Switch 1, you put in a Switch 2, like backwards compatible and all that, like no real like hitches there. But then they talk about, oh, we're releasing special versions of certain games for Switch 2. And some of these games have DLC, some of them have performance modes, control options. The games they showed off were Super Mario Party Jamboree, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. Thank God it's both of them at once. Kirby of the Forgotten Land, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Pokemon Legends ZA. We could park it on whatever games you guys want to talk about first, but effectively it's like this is kind of what we predicted.
Yeah, and I think it's really good that Tears of the Kingdom's here and just having those run. And I think it's 1440p 60 FPS is going to look really good.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like they showed it off at the treehouse, but it's like you look at the comparison shots of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It legitimately just looks like a different game. It's incredible what they were able to do with that. Exciting that we can finally play those games at a stable frame rate. It's just a nice 60 FPS. It's like, oh god, beautiful. I am curious, honestly. So Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom don't necessarily have DLC with them, but they do have integration with the Zelda Notes Nintendo Switch app. God bless Nintendo, still trying to sell that app. And it has like a GPS tracker. Apparently, they showed this off in the extra trailer. There's going to be like notes, or not notes, memories that you can collect in the world and stuff. Lots of extra cool things, but it's also like, we know why you're here for the 4K 60. Uh, the pricing of these games is really funny. But if you have, so this is the thing that's actually, I need you guys to help me out with this. So you buy the game, if you have the game already, you pay the $10 upgrade, or is it on NSO?
Well, it's both.
Oh, it's both?
Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I think, are the only ones you get with NSO, and I don't think that's also with the expansion pack.
Correct.
Okay.
It's not the base level NSO. It's got to be expansion pack.
Yeah, and they might add more, but those are the ones there that they for sure confirmed.
Yeah, and I guess with the other ones, those are more DLC type things. But then why is Metroid Prime 4 and Legends ZA? Whatever. It's a weird thing when it comes to the upgrade path, because my expectation was, oh, these Nintendo Switch 2 editions just come with your NSO pack. But it's like, with some of them, you still have to pay, like, I think it's like $10 is the pricing of them, which it's weird.
It does make sense with at least it can be more justifiable with Super Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby, because Super Mario Party, you're getting
Yeah,
brand new mini games that involve the camera and the mouse, which I think is awesome. I can't wait to play those games. And then with Kirby and the Forgotten Land, they actually did kind of put like a little DLC, little expansion in there. So it is kind of more of like a Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury moment where you're getting like a better version of the game, but you're also getting new content. So those two are justified. But yeah, it is interesting with Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends. It's like, yeah, you're just you're just paying for the visual upgrades, I guess. But hey,
I
you know.
mean, in the case of Metro Prime 4, you saw the comparison screenshots. Man, is it a visual
Yeah,
upgrade?
no, that is
But,
true. Like it does, and this is
but I'm with you.
where
It's weird.
like I remember when we were watching it, like before, I think when they were still talking about the hardware itself, Fusion had asked in the Discord, it's like, do you guys think they're gonna like say any of these games have performance or quality modes? And I was like, no, dude, it's Nintendo.
sure.
Like they're gonna give you one mode and you're gonna enjoy it, and they don't want you to think about it. And then Metroid Prime 4 comes up, it's like, yeah, you can play in performance mode at 1080p 120, or you can play it in quality mode at 4K 60. And I'm like, oh, what? Like,
I
are
cannot
these
believe that.
words on my screen right now?
I am watching a Nintendo presentation with the words 4K 60. It's
Or
yeah, and
even performance and quality mode. Like, they never give you that option.
yeah, and Retro is the studio to do it. I mean, they are right there with Next Level Games for the most technologically advanced Nintendo first party games. In Metroid Prime 4, I mean, you look at that game, it looks insane, but I'm very curious to see what other games really take advantage of that performance and quality. And hey, Bob, Legend ZA, it's going to have improvements. Didn't show them.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing, going straight from Metroid Prime 4, where they're like very clearly like, all right, here are your performance and resolution options. Also, here's Pokemon Legends ZA. Please do not ask us how it looks better. We just don't worry about it. All right,
We don't
let
know,
it work.
man.
Let it work.
I don't know
It
if
looked
it was
like
a
solid
placebo.
60.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a placebo effect, but I'm like, oh, it looks better, I think.
No, it does, and yeah, like Bench said, people like ran like the frame rate counter on what they showed, and it is at 60. I just still have my doubts. Like, well, we saw a very small snippet of it, so I'd be curious to see
Yeah.
what that performance increase is.
You'll get 60, but then at the moment you get into a battle, it drops to 30. or
Right,
something.
exactly.
So I'm
Like,
that's late.
yeah, like you're telling me when I use Roar of Time in a battle and like all this shit's happening on the screen, you're gonna keep at 60? If it is, amazing. Like you have exceeded
Respect.
my expectations.
I'm unironically extremely excited for the Kirby DLC because that is one of my favorite Switch games, and it's just like, hey, here's more. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. I will say, it is August 28th for Kirby and the Forgotten Lands DLC, where I'm like, what? This is gonna take an extra 2 months, but whatever, I'll wait. But also, I gotta talk about the pricing of these things. These games. So, Breath of the Wild is $70 with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, and I know it comes with NSO. I know it comes with that. But you look at the sticker shock of just seeing a game that came out on Wii U and Switch like at launch like 8 years ago, and just seeing they increased the price somehow. It's like fascinating to say the least. I know a lot of people are basically going to be upgrading these games, so like it's not the biggest deal in the world, but also it's like it is weird to effectively not even try to give like some type of discount, considering a lot of these games are years old.
Yeah. And I do think it's
Sorry, go ahead.
rumored that the game, like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, games with not much new content are $10 upgrades. But the ones with
Yeah.
like expansions like Mario and Mario Party and Kirby are going to be 20.
Yeah, and I like you say that rumored, and it's like, God, Nintendo, just say it. Like, why do we got to do this guessing game every 5 seconds? But yeah, that's interesting. And also, something that I was curious about in terms of free updates of like, oh, were they gonna like, if I put a Switch 1 game, I put it on in the Switch 2. There will be free updates for select Nintendo Switch games, different from the editions. Let me tell you, the games that they show off. So, like, Game Builder Garage here, that makes sense with the pointer. Same with like Clubhouse games,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And then Big Brain Academy, if you want to play that in 4K. Super Mario Odyssey, obviously. ARMS, yes. Like, get at a higher frame rate. Link's Awakening, thank God, get that at a higher frame rate. Please. Bop. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yep.
We did it, boys. We
I'll
can
believe
get
it
the
when I
game to
see it.
run at a stable 30.
I mean, and also too, like I think the way we should look at this is like the Steam Deck verification program, where
Mhm.
Nintendo is confirming these games are getting free updates that will like improve your experience, but like you can throw any game from your Switch One on here, and there will be some sort of improvement. It's not like they're gonna
Yeah.
like it, like the games can't like just detect new hardware and be like, nah, I'm still gonna run at 25 frames. Like you'll get a boost on everything, but these games specifically, they're calling out like, yeah, there was some attention given to them.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
kind of
think
what I
this
was.
list will grow over time.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably. Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. And I think for someone like me who skipped out on Scarlet and Violet, with the Switch 2 coming out, and if I decide that I want to get Switch 2, then I would wait till the update comes out for Scarlet and Violet rather than playing it now, right?
Yes.
Dude, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Dude, if you play it now, your eyes will hurt.
Yeah, I had to play it handheld mode because TV burned my brain.
God, so
Yeah, it's
ugly.
bad on the TV.
Moving into our next thing, woke Rocket League,
Hell yeah.
Drag X Drive. This was a wheelchair basketball game coming out in summer 2025. I'm gonna be truly and completely honest with you guys. I think this game looks bad. I am not interested in it at all.
Boo.
It looks really. I hate the aesthetic. I hate how it has like zero charm. It legitimately looks like they went for the most realistic art style. When it's like kind of the whole point of Nintendo games is that they look goofy and dumb, and like they have that uniqueness. And like this was just like here's some non-distinct they them robots or something. I don't know, but I don't know. You guys talk about it because apparently I'm the weird one here.
No, you just hate handicapped people, and that should
That's
be noted.
insanity.
I mean,
No,
I
yeah, go
agree
ahead.
with you. I don't think it looks great, but also it's. I think this is gonna be a better game, and probably just more people come back to it than say 1-2 Switch.
Oh, well, I mean
But
that's not a high bar.
but it's a bar that they have exceeded.
Guys, it's better than 1-2 Switch. Let's go, baby.
3-1. Yeah, no, I think the bar is ARMS, really. When I saw this, my thought was, yeah, this is the ARMS of this generation, where I think people are going to play it because they've already played, Mario Kart World and they've gone through their updates, but Donkey Kong isn't out yet. Or, well, actually, they haven't confirmed a release date for Dragon Drive, so I guess we don't really know. But, like, let's say, it's like your October game before, like, the fall releases hit. I think it's just going to be a way to pass the time. I think the mechanics actually do. Yeah, like you guys are right. The art style and stuff is kind of, generic and not really inspired, but I do think the actual mechanics look good. The issue there is who is playing this at their computer desk? Because we haven't really explained it, but like essentially you're in a wheelchair and you're playing basketball, but it's all through the mouse functionality of the Switch 2 Joy-Cons. So you have to put them on their sides on assumably a flat surface. I guess you could use your couch. Good luck with that. And then you're like rolling them back and forth like you would be rolling a wheelchair, and then you'd pick it up and do a shooting motion like you would shooting a basketball, at least in one hand. So, like, that is a very cool concept and a very just like Nintendo, like, what could we do to make a game based on the mouse functionality that's like different? They found it. Don't get me wrong, they definitely found it, but like, no one's really playing this at their desk. Most people are playing this on their couch, and like, I don't know, maybe they tested it and like the mouse pointer stuff will work on the couch, but like otherwise, like, what, you're gonna bring like a TV table to your couch and like
Apparently.
after you finish your Hungry Man TV dinner, you're just gonna take it to the side and put the Switch 2 Joy-Cons on there. Like, it's a little silly, so I don't think it's gonna have a long lasting history. Kind of like ARMS, where it's like people played it around the launch, but no one's really going back to it.
apparently, what's it called? The Joy-Con mouses do work on your legs. So I
Yeah,
don't
and you'll
know.
give yourself rug burn. Doing it that way.
Just funny, man. Yeah, Drag X Draft, God bless you. And then we get into the third party montage. They talked a lot about third parties. Let me tell you guys, this thing is when if you guys remember, back at the Switch One presentation, they had that famous here are a list of third party partners. It was like 6, but
Yeah.
like this time, very much so. They have everyone wanted to be in this direct. It's clear that these companies, these studios, they wanted to try to get their thing into the direct because it's a very, very big moment to try to be somewhere in the launch window or year of a Nintendo console. First thing was Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. Obviously, I think we've been predicting Elden Ring for a long time to come to Switch 2. What's interesting, they're apparently adding new armor and weapons, apparently. And it also comes with the DLC. The whole game isn't on the cart, which is really fucking stupid. It's a PS4 video game. We'll get into that. Trust me, we'll get into that. That's a whole other discussion. Hades 2, another one we predicted for a while, pretty clear. And I don't know if you guys saw this. It's gonna be a Nintendo console exclusive, same way Hades 1 was. So
Yeah.
that's actually really
Or
cool.
timed exclusive at least.
Yeah, timed exclusive, of course, but like console exclusive at the very least. So no PS5 or Xbox version, interestingly enough. And then Street Fighter 6 it's going to be on launch day. It's the year 1 edition with all the DLC fighters. And
I
also
think it's
they're
year
adding
1+2.
Oh, is it 2? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's been 2 years since Street Fighter 6. My bad. I don't know why. I thought that game came out last year.
Yeah.
And it's also they're adding amiibo support. And like they're creating like Luke amiibo and like 2 other characters. That's really funny. I'm glad amiibo aren't going away, and like even third party devs are doing shit like that. Daemon X Machina, fuck you. Split Fiction is going to be on launch date.
Called it.
That's a very obvious one, yeah, for sure. EA Sports, FC plus Madden NFL. That's both good pickings. I forget, Bob. Have they? Was the I know FIFA was really dog shit on Switch. Have they done Madden on Switch?
Decades.
No, I think Madden hasn't been on there since the Wii.
No, it was on 3DS. I remember that.
Yeah, but like, okay, but that's like a separate like.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a
I
funny
think
thing.
like a port, let's say, of a
Yeah.
Madden game hasn't
a Madden
come
year
to like
member.
hasn't come to like a console since I think the Wii.
Is there such a thing as mainline Madden?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And then we had Hogwarts Legacy. They're gonna do like a complete edition there. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, summer 2025. By the way, adding a SpongeBob level, which is awesome. I love SpongeBob.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
fucking
that was crazy. They like when they showed the card words a few moments later. I'm like, what?
Jad, this one's for you. Hitman World of Assassination
Oh,
Signature
let's go.
Edition, right at launch. And also they teased Project 007. The way he talked about it was like, oh, is this where we get the gameplay reveal? No, it's just coming to Switch 2.
First console I think it was announced for, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, they announced it like 8 years. I think it was in like 2020, where they had
2021.
this live stream, and all they showed was the logo, and that's it. And then they come back years later, and the logo again.
Yeah, but I was one of those studios where it's like, it's gonna be good. You can
Oh
trust
yeah.
them. Bench, this is for you. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD remaster.
Yeah, I am very excited. I've never played this. It's coming in at a price point that I think is fine, that I didn't expect at $40.
$40. That's really good.
I mean, I just hear so many good things about this game and its soundtrack and its like art style that I'm very hyped. It's day 1 on Switch, so this will be like my JRPG for sure.
Yeah, it seems like they're actually doing a good amount. They're adding like mouse controls and whatnot, which that's actually really cool. Interesting to have it at launch too. And then Yakuza 0 Director's Cut launch as well. Yeah, Bob, Bet, I found this funny because they're like, we're adding more cutscenes. It's like, more? There's so many already.
Where'd you hide these? Like, would you just look in the closet and be like, whoops, more cutscenes?
I think I saw something of them also adding an English dub. I think I
Oh,
saw
I didn't-
something about that.
Oh god.
Also, this will be the only version that runs at 4K 60. All the other versions are 1080p.
Wow,
Wow.
that's actually funny.
I mean,
I didn't know that.
Timed exclusive.
Allegedly, I'll believe it when I see it on these. But it is a 10-year-old game at this
Yeah,
point.
it's a PS3 game, I think, actually. Oh no, Zero's PS4. It'll run.
Yeah.
What's it called? It's also they're adding like a multiplayer mode, which is like, sure, go for it. And then next they actually showed a like kind of a partner game, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. This Koei Tecmo with their AAA studio, which I actually looked up. Apparently, or not, I looked it up. Bench looked it up. This was a case where they formed a studio to kind of work on Nintendo games. I will admit, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm a little disappointed it's another Hyrule Warriors. There are other Nintendo franchises. Like I guess I'm like, I love Fire Emblem, I love Zelda. They act like those are the only two that could be in the Warriors style, but I do like the idea of it being a Tears of the Kingdom prequel, and also this one's actually canon, unlike
Yep.
Age of Calamity. So that's a lot more.
Yeah,
Exciting.
I'm actually pretty hyped about this. I really loved Age of Calamity a lot, and it looks like this was running at a solid frame rate. On top of, I think like the enemies on screen looked like they were like double or triple the amount that were on Switch.
Yeah, I mean, God, it just reminds me. It's like Age of Calamity. Hopefully that gets a frame rate upgrade of some kind on Switch too, because that would be awesome. And then they got into one of my favorite announcements because I'm an old head, Nintendo GameCube. That's going to be an NSO perk. Interestingly enough, exclusive to Switch 2. So this isn't, even if you have NSO expansion pack on Switch 1, you cannot play these unless you have a Switch 2. And what's it called? They showed off Nintendo GameCube classics, and the very first one they showed off was Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, boys.
It's still coming.
HD version, right? Right, Wolf? HD version?
Yeah, get that bad boy in up-res to 1080p. That's all you get, buddy.
It's no, the pack is still coming, I believe.
Okay, bitch. I don't know how to tell you, man. My theory as to why is I bet you they looked at the sales of Metroid Prime Remastered and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door Remastered and like other GameCube games they've brought over and like, yeah, these sales aren't exactly what we want.
Zelda.
I get it, but like I think they just look at the sales and they're like, this isn't enough. Let's just make it an NSO thing instead.
They're not going to add the Twilight Princess GameCube version, I don't think. So, like,
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
Because it wasn't one of the ones they announced previously. There's like 8 games, and shoutouts, Pokemon Coliseum and XD Gills.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
So sick.
Pop for that.
I'm hyped.
But I think they definitely will because it's like it's the same reason like people were wondering why Melee wasn't here, and it's like, dude, you could make an entire direct based on the GameCube NSO version of Melee being launched. Like, I definitely think the not showing their hand doesn't mean it's not coming. I think it's just like they know this will be a seller at some point.
Yeah, they showed like N64 games, like when they were like, here are the N64 games that are going to be added to NSO, and then they started adding N64 games that weren't part of that list, like even before that entire list was shown, which was interesting.
Yeah.
So I think Twilight Princess is probably going to be a part of this thing. And what they did show, they showed Soul Calibur 2, which is so awesome because it's the version with Link. So it's the only good version of that game because it's like, what was it? On Xbox, you got Spawn. Who the fuck likes Spawn? I'm sorry. Can I be real? Spawn sucks. And then PS2 got Heihachi, which, interestingly enough, the PS2 version was going to have Cloud, but Square backed out last second. So they just ported over Heihachi from a Tekken game, which is just... Yeah, it's the GameCube version is the only version of that game.
And also...
An F-Zero... Oh, what's up, Bench?
This and F-Zero have widescreen.
Yeah, that widescreen support. This was the era when widescreen started to become more widely adapted. So games supported widescreen as like one of the options, which is really cool. But yeah, F-Zero GX and what was it? The other two, Soul Calibur 2 and Wind Waker are going to be the launch ones. And then they said they were going to add Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, and Pokemon Coliseum. Let me tell you guys, Path of Radiance, Gale of Darkness, Chibi Robo, and Coliseum, very expensive video games. Path of Radiance is a $300 video game. So the fact that they were like, actually, you could just play this on here. It's like, that is awesome. I cannot fucking wait. Path of Radiance is definitely the one I was like really, really hoping they'd show. And it's like, yes, this is what I want. So so excited for GameCube on NSO. This is
Yeah.
incredible.
So the thing interesting with Sunshine, I mean, it's the second game from the 3D All Stars collection they're adding to NSO, and now I'm like, there's no way they're gonna add Galaxy to like the Wii Classics. Like, I think they'll just sell that one separately.
Dude, we still, we're still waiting on Galaxy 2. Like,
Yeah.
how do you not re-release Galaxy 2 just on the eShop for like $20? Like, come on, man.
Oh no,
I would
no,
pay
they're
I'll pay
60.
50. I don't care.
yeah,
That's a 10
they're
out
gonna
of
make
10
it full price. if
I'd pay
if Donkey Kong,
70.
yeah.
I
I'll
did
pay
not
80.
think we were getting the Pokemon GameCube games. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I
Yeah, because
know
the
we
Game Boy ones
have.
aren't even on NSO.
Well, and like I know we have people are like, oh, well, we have Stadium on 64, and I'm like, yeah, but like
No,
this
then
This
I'll-
is a game.
this is like a genuine like game, and
Afro Man.
that being said, please, his name is Mirror B Bench. But I think the interesting thing here is like, do not expect Pokemon Home integration. There is
No.
absolutely no way, which is
I
insane because
can't bring
it's
my
like,
Shadow Lugia?
yeah, like I don't understand why. Clearly, they're gonna make it so easy to say no to this, but not for the Game Boy games or any of the other Pokemon games. Like, just put them on there, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
weird. Pokemon Company is weird. But yeah, dude, I want you guys to know these games are awesome. They are so fun. XD Gale of Darkness Coliseum. And listen, for anyone who is like, I don't even want to play them, just at the very least listen to the OSTs. There's some of my favorite Pokemon soundtracks, especially Mirror B's theme.
Oh my God, Mirror Beast is so good. Like
In
both
both games, man.
Yeah,
So good.
the like, and it is like it like weirdly enough is kind of a darker, more mature story than you were used to, especially at that time for a
Coliseum,
Pokemon
for sure.
game. So yeah, I definitely would. I would echo those statements. Check them out; they're fantastic games.
Moving into the next announcement after GameCube, we got Deltarune Chapters 3 plus 4, what plus 1 plus 2, and it's gonna be at launch. This is awesome. I love Undertale, so I'm ready for more. Interesting. So this has been released in chapters for a long time, and I thought this was the complete edition, but then I hear online it's like, no, there's actually gonna be more chapters, which is like, God, I've been waiting to play this until it was all out, but I guess I'm probably gonna play this version because it's like 4 chapters. That's meaty enough. I can wait a little bit after that. And then in a jump scare, Randy Pitchford showed up to show off Borderlands 4. He has to have some dirt on someone in 2K to always be here, man. It's ridiculous. But yeah, Borderlands 4. It's gonna be day and date with the console releases, and then Sid Meier's Civilization 7. They're gonna have a Switch 2 edition with mouse controls, which that'll easily be the best console version of that game. WWE 2K and NBA 2K both come in as well. Survival Kids, a game that necessarily wouldn't even get a shout out, but if you guys remember, we were watching the US stream, and this is where it basically broke. And it was like stuck on an image of this game, and we all had to jump onto the UK stream because that one was still running. That was a very, and also I gotta point out the whole audio was delayed for the US stream.
It was well. It happened during the C button functionality. There was a second right at the beginning where the video stopped, but the audio kept going. I'm like, oh, that was weird. And then you guys were like, oh, is the audio distinct? I'm like, oh yeah, it must have happened from that. But like, not the end of the world. And then yeah, this happens. Like, oh no, Nintendo.
I wonder, they must have been coming in hot, but it's weird because it's like the UK stream was just fine. So it's like, I don't know. They work on these directs last minute. A lot of the cases, a lot of people don't know that these aren't exactly like fully nailed down. This is the console reveal. You can't be having your stream fuck up like that.
I think Grubb predicted that it was the computer that ran the live stream was having issues, not necessarily the video package itself.
Okay, so we can blame it on Linux. Sweet.
Yes.
Moving into.
Really quick. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, like, I was surprised that 2K had or like Take Two had a big presence, but like, you'd think that GTA 5 could be potentially coming to Switch 2 right before 6th one, but yeah,
Rockstar
who
like
would
to
know?
announce stuff on their own. That's a weird thing with them. And then the game that everyone missed, unfortunately, because I love the first game, Enter the Gungeon 2. I went back and watched it. I'm like, dude, this game looks awesome. It's like a 3D version of it, which Hell yeah, dude. I love Enter the Gungeon, so I'm ready for more. Star Seeker Astroneer Expeditions 2026. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. Bob, you doubted me. You said there's no way Cyberpunk would run on this thing. Eat crow, man. I beat you.
Yeah. Hey, hand up, taking the L on this one.
Yeah. I was like, it can run on Steam Deck, it can run on Switch too. That's kind of my like basis now.
Includes the DLC that wasn't on previous last gen consoles as well. So
Yeah,
they're
that's a good
porting the
point.
current gen.
Yep. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Bench, you jumping on this again on Switch too?
I mean, it'd be for a replay of before the next game. I don't know if it would be just probably not.
Reawakening.
It'd have to go on sale. I mean, I've played this game twice. I did a replay on the PS5 version after the PS4 version. So if I hadn't done a replay before, maybe. But it's just I've already done a replay before.
Yeah. And you'd imagine Rebirth is eventually coming to this console too, right, guys?
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
so genuinely insane, but I would maybe buy Rebirth again for the Switch.
Respect.
Yeah.
Then we did the sizzle reel. Kunitugami is gonna be launched, and then Hollow Knight Silk Song
Yeah.
shows up in the sizzle reel. Which, by the way, Jat the GOAT predicted what if it appeared in the sizzle reel as a joke, and we all made fun of him, like, "Oh, very funny, Jat." He was right. It was in the sizzle reel with a 2025 release date.
Oh man.
Or Fusion.
My viewpoint is the fact that this game reemerged here, even if it was in the sizzle reel, it tells me they're pretty confident in that 2025 date.
Yeah.
So,
I think the reason it was in the sizzle reel is because they're like, guys, we just need to make the game. Like we don't need to make a 2-minute trailer. We don't need to use the resources for that. Just
Yeah.
show a screenshot of gameplay. Like we need to keep working on this.
it was funny because I haven't played Hollow Knight in years. I was looking at the footage and I was like, "Damn, this game looks fun." I kind of want to play this now. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. God bless you. Good Night Universe. 2-Point Museum. Obviously with mouse support, that's gonna be cool. Wild Hearts S. I thought this game shut down, but it turns out I was wrong. So this is gonna be like a Switch version. That's cool. Witchbrook, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S. It's gonna be Game of the Year. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, which they actually delayed the launch of that game from like May 30th to launch of Switch 2, which is very funny. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Star Wars Outlaws, which Star Wars Outlaws, the only Ubisoft game. You know, we always go into these like kind of console presentations like, oh, we're gonna see a shit ton of Ubisoft stuff. Just Outlaws, which is weird because it's like, I would thought they would have gone like an Assassin's Creed game ready for launch, but okay. Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening gonna be launched. Fast Fusion is launched. Shadow Labyrinth still coming out on July. Raito Remastered, that's June 19th. That might be wrong. Oh no, that's right. No Sleep for Kaname Date. Reanimal, which dude, watching that trailer, I'm like, damn, this game looks sick. I forgot how good this looked. Fortnite, Arcade Archives 2, Ridge Racer, God bless you, Mike Minotti, Professor Layton in the New World of Steam, Tamagotchi Plaza, Human Fall Flat 2. But yeah, that was the whole sizzle reel. A lot of games in that sizzle reel.
Over the next thing. No big deal. We can just skip over the next game right to Kirby.
Oh, okay. Disrespectful. So, all right. Listen, man. A lot of interesting stuff in that sizzle reel, but the next thing they basically said it's like, this is our last game from our third-party partners, and the trailer starts. And it's like, okay, interesting. And then the From Software logo shows up, and I mean, these guys will tell you I was freaking out in the Discord because I was like, is this Bloodborne anything? Is this Bloodborne? And like, there's one shot where a character like rides in on a horse and she is straight up wearing the hunter hat and holding the saw cleaver, and I was like convinced it was Bloodborne at that point. But no, this is a new IP called The Duskbloods. Revealed, it's gonna have a 2026 release date, exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. So in this presentation, this was nobody's bingo card. From Software reveals a brand new game that's exclusive on the next piece of Nintendo hardware. And then they said they're going to do a creator spotlight, which that came up. And then they said a little bit after, this is a PvPvE game. So it's a multiplayer game. A lot of thoughts about this one. Obviously, I'm the FromSoft guy, so I'll go first. My thought process is I am very intrigued by just the look of this game. It looks incredible. I love that aesthetic so much. And learning more about it through the Miyazaki interview that went up on the Nintendo website, it does seem like they're taking a lot of influence from what the time worked on Bloodborne and just the look of the style of everything. It's kind of like this, oh, it's Victorian era, but it's also kind of like more a little bit in the future and like a weird melding of timelines. The multiplayer aspect is the thing that has a lot of people scratching their heads. Elden Ring Night Rain obviously coming out in a couple months, and I'm I'm of the mind that as someone who played Night Rain, I love the little bit I played of Night Rain. It was incredible. But it's also the thought process of it is weird to have two multiplayer games in a row. As much as I love FromSoft, it is an interesting thing. And I don't know if you guys read the interview. They were expecting backlash. Specifically, like literally the first thing Miyazaki says, it's like, oh, before we begin, I want to point out we're still making single player games. And this is a case of like, this is a game we wanted to make. We wanted to do multiplayer. We thought it was a good idea, but like, we're still going to be making single player games. So it almost, that reassurance tells me it's like they kind of expected people to be like taken aback by it being a multiplayer game. Now, FromSoft has always had very heavy multiplayer integration with their titles, so it is interesting that like now they're like going full force when it comes to this game and Night Rain. I won't like lie. But I was a little disappointed to learn it was a multiplayer game. Obviously, I want a single player FromSoft game again. But it doesn't kill my excitement because of Night Rain. Because Night Rain was so much fun, I'm down for this. And it seems like this one's going to be a lot less of the party up with your friends type deal. And it's more like you solo queue, you go in, fight some guys, fight some enemies. That type of run-based gameplay almost sounds like more roguelike than anything, which I'm intrigued by, to say the least. I'm excited, obviously cautiously optimistic. The Switch 2 exclusive part is fascinating to me. It is one of those things where it's like, I could not have predicted a FromSoft game being exclusive again, especially after the whole Bloodborne fiasco, which kind of tells me it's like they're almost going to... I look at this as like almost they're retaining the IP this time because they saw what happened with Bloodborne. I do see this being a timed exclusive, but also Nintendo doesn't really do that timed exclusive. So yeah, I definitely want to hear more about this game. I'm very interested. Obviously, I'm interested in anything FromSoft does, but this is a fascinating title, to say the least.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like, multiplayer is disappointing and I'm still interested in the game, but just that setting looked very good, and for it to just not be its own single player thing is a bit disappointing.
That's fair, and I get why people are disappointed. I do think a lot of people are throwing the baby out with the bathwater, being like, this is bad, I'm not interested anymore. It's like, I think it's worth checking this out still. It's just, again, it is a little disappointing that it is going to be a multiplayer title with such a cool setting.
I just really liked the roller coaster ride of, oh my god, it's Resident Evil. No, 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 it's Castlevania. No, 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 it's Bloodborne. And then it's like, nope, new IP. Like, all right.
This is effectively legally distinct Bloodborne. This is like,
yeah, for sure.
They're making almost like a pseudo successor to it. Which, listen, I'll take
literally
it.
Dusk Bloods. Like it's it's almost in the name.
You read the interview, bro. He talks so much about blood. It's hilarious.
Do you think? Well, just out of curiosity, do you think this comes to the other consoles and PC?
I think so. I think this is the case where they learned in the past what exclusivity can do. I think this is a case of Nintendo was like, hey, we'll support the development and like get you guys out there with this title and maybe publish it, we don't know. But, we expect exclusivity, and at least for a little bit. And I imagine it'll be like kind of a 1-year type deal.
I'm not sure, because they didn't FromSoft approach Nintendo about the game?
Well, yeah. I don't know. Actually, I need to read the interview.
It was being developed for the Switch 1. I did see that.
That was a big thing, which, God, could you imagine?
No, I couldn't actually.
Yeah, I am curious. The idea of them developing it for the Switch 1, maybe it was a case where FromSoft approached Nintendo. I guess it's a case of like, I would be shocked if FromSoft doesn't another like full exclusive the same way Bloodborne is. Because I know that, because this is the third time they'd be doing that, because they did that with Demon's Souls originally, and they're a much, much bigger and more prolific studio than they were when Bloodborne came out.
That's true.
I think they have a lot more clout to be able to say, "Hey, we're bringing this to other platforms, even against Nintendo." After that, that's all the third parties. They revealed 2 first-party games. One of them, Kirby Air Riders, a sequel to Kirby Air Ride, directed by Masahiro Sakurai. This was the game he was working on, which I'll be honest, last thing I expected. If you guys read Sakurai interviews, he is not a fan of like doing sequels most of the time. And also, he was very adamant like he was done with Kirby because he's done Kirby for so long. He's like, yeah, I did all I want to with my character. It's time to move on. But it seems like it's like he has a lot more experience under his belt. And he's like, yeah, I want to go back to Kirby and specifically Air Ride, which that's a great game. I am curious what a sequel would do. I'm very interested in that. But man, what a weird announcement, to say the least.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about this. I'll play it because it's a Sakurai game, but sucks to say because obviously he can do what he wants. But I don't think this is an IP worthy of his time. I guess in the limited time he has left to make games, if I was Nintendo, I would not let him do this. As bad as it sounds, because I think there's just better uses for what his talents could do. Not even just Smash. Like they're just we already have Mario Kart. Like I don't know if we need another like racing type game in there.
Well,
I just think there are better uses on what he could do.
I understand that. I am of the mind that Sakurai is the type where it's like if he wants to make something, that's not someone you really say no to, because he has like proven himself substantially at this point.
It definitely gives off the vibe of like he really wants to do right by this game.
Yeah,
because the original Kirby Air Ride, like no one likes it. It has a 61 on Metacritic.
It's a good game. What are we doing here?
Okay, the majority of people do not like it. To be honest, I haven't played it, so I don't have an opinion on it.
What majority? Hang on.
I've heard a lot of mixed things.
Most people like this game. Like everyone I talk to likes this game.
Everyone I talk to did not like this game. So maybe it's just my friend group.
I don't know, weird people. Anyways,
but but still a 61 Metacritic, like that's not exactly a great from the journalism space.
I want to point something out. I don't love this game. It is a 2-button game. It's
right.
Not a very amazing game, but it's got charm.
I just feel like he wouldn't come back to this unless A, he had a point to prove with it, or B, had like an idea to take this to the next level. I don't think he was just looking at like older games that was like, yep, this is the one I want to do. Like I think he genuinely feels inspired by something to make him go, yeah, I want to come back to this.
Yeah, but it's not the game I want.
Well,
real. No, I don't know. It's like I'm of the mind that's like I'm willing to just give him benefit of the doubt because of his repertoire. Anything Sakurai makes, I'll play. I am just like fascinated by the idea of like, oh, I want to do this racing game. Because like that, the way that he returns to Kirby being the racing game is very weird.
And also, I mean, no disrespect to Kirby, but like compared to what Sakurai's done with Smash, which is like crazy ambitious project, this definitely seems a lot less taxing for him. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it's like the in between for something bigger. Like Nintendo's 100% gonna go for that next Smash for Switch 2.
Yeah, I imagine. Do you guys think like he's just not working on the next Smash, or just like more in a producer role?
I think so, because I also don't think like we've talked about it before. I think it's going to be like a Smash Ultimate Deluxe, and we're not getting like a new Smash this generation.
Oh, for the entire generation, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Mario Kart 8 thing where you let this ride for a generation and then come back with the next console with something.
Nah, bro, Smash Bros. World open stages.
God, open world Smash genuinely sounds like the worst video game of all time.
Just walking around, it's like Street Fighter 6. You just walk around and pick fights with people in the street.
now we get into the last title. This is my highlight. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Let's fucking go. A new 3D Donkey Kong games 20 years after that travesty Donkey Kong 64. They're coming back. The new design, which looks amazing. I am so in on this game with an asterisk because apparently, not apparently, it's rumored this is the Odyssey team, which gets me like, oh, I'm excited because I love Mario Odyssey. They're going to nail this. But also, I'm like, where's 3D Mario? Where, are they just not doing one? And me and Bench have been back and forth about this whole idea of like whatever this next 3D Mario game is. My current theory is that it is the Odyssey team, but like after Odyssey, they did Bowser's Fury, and I think they split up. Or not split up, but like they went into two separate teams. One team doing this Donkey Kong game, and then the other team is working on that 3D Mario game. Now, when that 3D Mario game comes out, who knows? Bench seems adamant that it's this year. I very much like fascinated by that idea. But I mean, the game itself, I mean, Donkey Kong Bonanza, this is by far my most anticipated game, like of the Switch 2 Direct. I am so fucking ready for just a new 3D Donkey Kong game. And the gameplay they showed at the Treehouse, I'm like, fully destructible environments, Red Faction Gorilla, the most overused joke, but damn it, it's a good joke. I'm in. This is awesome. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm definitely very excited. I think it might have been a miss to also not have this at launch. Because I think this with Mario Kart could have been like a dream launch scenario, but it's not. It's like a month after launch. So it's not like it's the holiday game, but I'm also very into this. It just looks like a very fun time. But yeah, if we don't get a 3D Mario by the end of 2026, I might be disappointed.
Get ready to be disappointed, buddy.
Dang, bro. Dang.
No, that being said, I just well, I mean, first off, I just don't think you need a. Or I should say, I think Nintendo doesn't think they need a 3D Mario at launch because they're gonna probably get a decent attach rate just from the success of the Switch one. Granted, who knows after everything else that's been happening. So I think for them it makes more sense to maybe do something a little bit different and kind of enhance one of their IPs. Like we said, it hasn't been touched in a while, especially like a 3D version of Donkey Kong. And then like wait a few years to get that 3D Mario for everyone else who wants to come back in. That being said, going back to Donkey Kong, this looks amazing. I also love that after people got hands-on with it, they're like, yeah, there's 4 buttons. It's break shit going up, break shit on land, and break shit going down, and then jump. I'm like, perfect. What a perfect move set. Like, no notes. Just what a great idea. Also, I don't know if we want to dive into like the theory crafting based on the key images we saw today. I don't know if you saw any of that, Wolf.
Image of Pauline, like a young Pauline with Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Then maybe this is a prequel. That could be possible.
And specifically, she is wearing a bracelet that looks purple and rocky, and we see that purple rock companion with Donkey Kong in a lot of the stuff we've seen so far. So it definitely seems like, yeah, we are getting like, I would almost say like a new Donk City prequel, or something that's going to kind of tie this universe together, and I think that is a really, really cool idea.
I mean, we never saw Donkey Kong in Odyssey, so that actually makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
What are the chances that baby Pauline is in Mario Kart World?
Oh, God.
Pretty high.
Don't ruin my day like that.
Maybe as a free update to promote the game, but yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, Jack, what are you thinking of Donkey Kong Bonanza? God tier name.
I think it looks sick. This game looks really interesting, and it's been rumored for a while that they're making some sort of 3D Donkey Kong, and now they've shown it, and I'm actually quite excited for it because I haven't played a 3D Donkey Kong game. I like some of the 2D ones; those were good for like to have it in 3D in this open zone and just smashing everything. It seems like a really good game, and they are really Like I feel like there's kind of been the surge of like making Donkey Kong more prominent lately with like putting him in the Mario movie, and then in the Universal Park in Florida, they made like a whole Donkey Kong section. So Nintendo's really trying to push him forward in spotlight.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think this is clear they are really wanting to advertise Donkey Kong as his own brand now, kind of even separate from the Mario universe, and push the franchise. I mean, look at the amount of fucking ads they got for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Dude, the Rizzler was promoting that game the other day, which is just hilarious. Apparently, like, he's gonna be like a spokesperson for Nintendo now, which is like, hell yeah, that's kind of smart actually. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza. That's what they ended the direct on games wise. But overall, very strong direct. I think we all agree we had a very fun time. Um, Everything after the direct is where the interesting stuff shows up. I don't. Were you guys remember the time during the PS5 when the second showcase happened and it was all great, and then all the news started showing up about pre-orders and like issues like with the console, the launch, all that PlayStation blog basically, and everyone was like, "Wait, what?" Effectively, the same thing happened with the Switch too, where it's like, "Here's all the bad news." So let's get into that. First and foremost, the price and release date. So this was actually in the direct. I forgot to mention it earlier. But Bench, you nailed it. Thursday, June 5th.
Perfect release date, at least for me. Just everything works out.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah, June 5th, man. That seems really quick. Dude, it's like a week after Night Rain and Lost Soul Aside. Oh, God. June's going to be a busy month because we also have Death Stranding 2 near the end of the month, which that looks incredible too. Man, we're gonna be gaming, boys. And then we got the price. Hang on. Okay. And by the way, this is all VGC did a bunch of articles about all this. That's kind of helping out, get everything organized. They announced the price. It will be $450, and
As
also, as of now, we'll get into that. And then $500 for the Mario Kart World Bundle. I'll say this: a lot of people are complaining about the price. To me, $450 is fair. That's around like what we expected, actually.
Yeah, I think especially with my hardware expectations kind of being elevated with what was shown, I think it's a fair price.
Yeah, how much is it in Canada?
Oh yeah, so let me give a bit of a comparison. So in 2020, when the PS5 and Series X launched, they priced it slightly differently. Where Series X was 600, and then PS5 was 630. But then they raised the PS5 price here, and that's 650. The base Switch 2 is 630, so like a $20 difference between the two. And yeah, the Mario Kart bundle is 700.
I
Yeah.
would also like to point out, I think I called it with 450, so thank you.
Hey, no worries, Bob. You'll get your money. 450 though. Yeah, that's around what I expected. And then $50 for the extra for the Mario Kart bundle. And I'm like, oh wow, that's what's it called? $20 off because Mario Kart would be $70. Actually.
Do you guys think, because now going in the pre-order strategy, I think that you're gonna have a better chance. Like with the PlayStation, everyone went for the PS5 digital, right? Because it's the cheaper one. But I almost feel like people are gonna go for the Mario Kart one over the base one because it comes with the game at a discounted rate. So I'm like, I should just go. Like, sure, I'll take the $20 hit, but like, if I only have a chance to order the base one over the bundle, I'm getting the base one and paying the extra because I do not want to miss like a pre-order for this for launch.
My I guess hot take is that if you want to pre-order, you're going to be able to get one before launch.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I mean, if you're following like the Jake Randalls, the Wario 64s, there will be a lot of people where it's like you'll be able
like
to maybe.
Obviously, with pre-orders being delayed, originally it was April 9th, but a month after April 9th, they are going, which I mean, I assume hasn't updated because if you're going to do pre-orders, you got to do it at least a month before launch. Is that through the Nintendo Store, if you meet certain criteria, you should be fine. Like my understanding is that if you have those 50 hours and have the Switch online for 12 months, you're gonna be able to get a Switch 2 pre-order if you want one.
Yeah, and there's also not as much of a chip shortage as there was when the PS5 and Series X came out. So so that will definitely make a difference.
I'm curious about like the what the pre-order situation is going to be now for us in the U.S. at least because of a later news story. But yeah, I think you should be able to get one. I am. There is this story. We should get into it. Mario Kart World is going to be $80.
Uh,
Skipped right past the 70. $80, and there was at one point it was $80 digital, 90 physical. Looking more into it, that seemed to be debunked. I think it's $80 US dollars for all versions of Mario Kart World. So hopefully, I don't want to have to spend more money on fucking physical games. Nintendo, we'll see. But yeah, it's gonna be MSRP $80. We skipped right past 70. I mean, wow, that is fucking insane. To just immediately jump over 70 without any just the like throwing ice water into our faces effectively. This is the most frustrating aspect of all of it. The console price, whatever, I can deal with. $450. You're gonna say no, actually you do have to spend more money for the games though now. And I get it, Mario Kart World. I get why they did it with Mario Kart World. Everyone's gonna buy it. Because they know everyone's gonna buy it. And it's like this kind of nickel and diming that I expected going into this generation, but not to this extent. Because we didn't even try to stick with 70 for that long. And also, I'm going to tell you now, $80, that's going to embolden other publishers. Hey, GTA 6, that's an $80 video game now. Hell, that's going to be a $100 video game. What are you going to do? Not buy it? I hate it. It's stupid. It really lost a lot of hype after what was a really fucking good direct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think it's like throwing like a slap in the face because I mean we are gonna buy it, which also it's just I'm not pissed about it. I mean, in the way that like I ruined my excitement. Like I think there's a lot to be frustrated about, and I like everyone that's pissed and spamming drop the price in the comments are completely valid. But me personally, I know I'm going to buy it, so I don't see that as a way to really like make it ruin my day. But I
mean,
understand that the people that feel that way, and that's completely justified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I'm frustrated as hell, but like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm a sucker. How much is it for you, Jet? Did they say the
Oh,
Canadian prices for the physical game?
so they haven't officially said it, but because like a $60 games are $80, this is gonna be at least $105, which is crazy. Paying
God.
3 digit prices for games.
God, imagine paying $100 for the Order 1886. That would be the worst day of your life. That's insane. Bob, you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I think
Here,
I've already been called a Nintendo fanboy and defender for this, which is funny. Like you
here
guys
he
know me, like
comes.
I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but okay. Um, I just think looking from like a broader economic perspective, I think that, first off, there was a time in the 80s and 90s where video game prices were a lot more variable, where they would
Yeah, that's
explore
because of
both,
cartridges.
right, but they would still explore both the high end and the low end. And if you adjust it for inflation, it's still way more expensive than what it is now. And I think, I've kind of been saying this all week. We had $60 games for too long. In my opinion, we should have gotten $70 games in 2013 and $80 games in 2020, like with each console generation. Sure, it's not like the upgrades from those generations you can argue are more marginal. It's like, why are you costing more money? But it's like, I mean, everything has gone up in price since we first got $60 games in 2005, or at least like the standard of $60 games in 2005. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't like, especially when it comes to Nintendo, because yes, you bring up the point where um, other publishers are going to see this and lick their lips, especially Rockstar and GTA, being like, "Oh, we can charge more for this. We absolutely will." the difference between Rockstar charging $100 for GTA and Nintendo charging $80 for Mario Kart, in my opinion, is that Strauss Zelnick makes 20 times more money in CEO compensation than Furukawa does. Take Two closes studios and lays off people when Nintendo doesn't. So yes, there are going to be bad actors and like C-suite executives who take this advantage of this to line their own pockets. But when it comes to Nintendo, yes, they can be greedy. They can like they're charging for the game that should be a pack-in. But at the same time, if there's one like video game company that looks at the current economic state and says, we do not want to lay off more people, we do not want to close down studios, they're going to and obviously they're still trying to make money, yes, but it's like I think they're the one company that is genuinely trying to look out to for their employees to a certain extent, because we know game budgets have skyrocketed and it's expensive. And like, I'm sorry, but like, I also when it comes to video game prices, it's like, oh man, like I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford playing Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong and the Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4. It's like there was a time where you would get one N64 game a year, and that was kind of it. And in other hobbies, like, I don't know, I'm not buying every single pair of golf clubs you could ever buy just because like you need to collect them all, and you're not buying every single Lego set that are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I like it's hard. It's going to be harder to be an enthusiast, and it's going to be harder to play everything. But I think it was just always going to happen. It was always an inevitability. And I think even Matt Piscatella says this, where it should have been a slow, gradual rise. We didn't get that. So now it's going to be a tsunami. And that really sucks, but it was always inevitable. And I think that's the unfortunate part.
And also, like, it sucks to say. I mean, how long did it take to get used to $70 games?
People still ain't
Maybe.
used to it.
Me personally, I'm like, okay, well, it's $70 now. There's nothing I can do about it. Probably took a couple weeks. And I assume it'll blow over past that, which sucks, because $80 is a lot of money. And a lot of people that play games don't have that kind of money. And that really sucks.
100%. And I definitely like feel for those people who, now won't be able to afford to play as many games as they'd like. Like there's no way around that. We're going to have to, I mean, just broader economics, it's like we're going to have to really pick and choose a lot of things about our day-to-day lives now, and that it's looking more and more that way, and that's definitely going to suck. But like I just you look at, I don't even know what like the price of I'll have to look at it in a second, but like $60 in 2005 adjusted for inflation is so much more money. So like I just like I keep saying, it should have happened sooner. And I think the fact that it stayed $60 for so long, people thought that price would never change. And it's like, it should have changed so more in that time period. And the fact that it didn't, the industry is kind of letting their consumers down in that regard.
I get what you guys are saying. I think me and Jed are a lot more frustrated by it. Because it was so aggressive. They said it with like zero pompous circumstances. They didn't even say it in the direct because they knew it would be a big deal. Of, hey, you are spending $80 now for, let's be honest, Mario Kart. And like, yeah, I'm excited for Mario Kart. It looks incredible. There's going to be a lot to it. I'm going to get my money's worth, but it's also like, this is not the first game I expected to be spending $80 with. This Nintendo, a company that's very slow to adapt for anything. And my issue is that they don't need to do it. They're doing it because they know people are going to pay.
Yeah.
And Nintendo is very much in this strategy now of like, how can we extract as much as we can out of the Switch 2 user to make up for what is inevitably a console that's going to sell less than the Switch 1. That's not like a case of like me predicting that. No, that's a fact. Like, there's no chance that Switch 2 sells more than Switch 1. I'm willing to take the L if that does happen, but I just can't imagine. So they're like, well, we want to try to get more money in the long run. We are going to sell more expensive video games. And the fact that they didn't even stick with 70 for long, the fact that they released one $70 game, and now it's like, no, Donkey Kong is the $70, $80 for Mario Kart. And it's like, wait, is 70 now the discount price? And the most frustrating part of all of this, here's the thing, the real kicker, it's never going on sale. This is a Nintendo game. They don't put their games on sale. Like, Grand Theft Auto 6 is a $100 game. That's going to go on sale every now and then. Not for much, but it will go on sale. Mario Kart World, at most, you're spending 70, like, at the bottom, you're spending $70. That's your sale price. To me, what annoys me is that it's like, Nintendo is the one doing this. Any other company, I can maybe see the repertoire. Even then, I would be frustrated. But the fact that Nintendo is doing it with their chest out, saying, you're going to buy it anyway, is this cocky Nintendo attitude that I fucking hate, that I thought we left behind. Yeah, we deal with it every now and then, but they keep figuring out ways to basically nickel and dime you for every little tiny thing when it comes to this console now, that the excitement is, in a lot of ways, frustrating now. I am less excited for the console knowing that I'm effectively going to be nickel and dimed for the entire generation now. So yeah, I'm sorry. I get your explanation, Bob. But as a consumer, it's still fucking stupid. And I'm just annoyed that they're so aggressive about it.
Yeah, I mean,
everything is completely valid, I think.
Yeah, well, if you're right. Like, I want to be very clear here. No one should not be mad about this. Like, I'm not here to tell you, like, no, you're stupid and you don't understand economics and, like, you should feel bad. Like, you are more than in your right to be upset. I'm upset. Like, I definitely know I'm going to have to think about what games I buy and everything. Like, I'm not, like, I can't just buy every single game at launch. And I think that definitely sucks. I just real quick to go back to, like, Nintendo doesn't need to do this and they can get away with it. Like, that's my thing, is like, do we really know that? Because again, going back to, like, Rockstar getting away with it, Rockstar also, like their executive they pay their executives so much money when they lay off people, and that's the shit I hate. Because it's like, okay, you could take a pay cut and save your employer, or save your workers, and your employees. But Nintendo, if anyone, they're the one company where, like, I know it was Iwata and he's no longer here, but, like, he did take a pay cut for his employees. And when we see all the layoff news and all the doom and gloom about, like, studios closing down, we never see Nintendo in those news. And we already said before, like, when we were thinking about pricing, like, oh, Nintendo, like, there's a chance it could be $450 because Nintendo knows that the tariffs are going to happen, and, like, the economic, like, outlook right now is bad and they want to protect themselves. So, like, until we see, like, to me, again, in my opinion, I don't think, like, yes, they can get away with it, but I don't think they're doing it out of greed or because they can. I genuinely think they are trying to prepare themselves for, like, the inevitability of just the uncertainty going on. And I genuinely think they don't want to, as much as they also want to make money, I don't think they want to close down studios, or they have, like, a certain level of care. But I could totally be wrong about that, but that's just my kind of intuition from all this.
I guess it's just like, I like how they're not aggressive to their studios or employees, but taking that aggression, like that price model, into the consumer, I think also is just weirdly unneeded. It's like, listen, Bob, you say it's like, oh, maybe, do we know that? Yeah, we do, because Nintendo budgets are not high. We know that. Like, their games barely even cross over 100 million most of the time, and that's gets made up by, like, the first day sales for most of these franchises, especially Mario Kart. They don't need to nickel and dime, but their thought process is, well, it's fine if 1 to 2 million people don't pay for Mario Kart World because of the high price tag, because everyone else still will pay and we'll get more money in the long run. That's a really annoying and frustrating part of the whole business reality of the video game world that I don't like. Yeah, it's great that Nintendo is very forthcoming and kind to their employees, and, like, we see that they're not in the news when it comes to shit like that. I appreciate that about that company more than any other studio in this fucking industry. But when you're this, let's be honest, anti-consumer, I'm gonna say the fucking word, to your consumers. The consumer base is always buying your product because the thought process is you're gonna buy it anyways. I don't know.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. I'm a fucking sucker. I'm gonna buy it anyways.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. But it's just, I guess I don't know. I look at this whole situation. I'm like annoyed that Nintendo is being this forthcoming about all of it.
Yeah. So the way I'm feeling about it, because this isn't like the first price increase we're experiencing in Canada, but also like obviously the market's much smaller here versus US, where it was about like a decade ago where the dollar started to like change, and now our $60 games were gonna be like we saw retailers putting them for $80 here. And now we saw it again. Okay, when the $70 US price was announced, the games here were $90, and now we're seeing another increase. And yeah, like it was surprisingly like I didn't see too much complaints when we went to 60 to 80, but now because it's like it's affecting like the whole industry. That I think that's why a lot more people are upset, because it like a lot of people are just very vocal about it.
Yeah, and I hope that, I mean, we saw them take down the pre-orders, right?
Yeah,
So
we'll talk about it right now. Actually, since we're talking about price.
yeah,
Thing on
Yeah,
the
let me read the story. Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders delayed due to tariffs. Release date still June 5th. So Nintendo sent a game at GameSpot, or no. Here is the full statement Nintendo sent GameSpot on April 4th. This is Stephen Petit over at GameStop, by the way. They sent the message: pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will not start April 9th, 2025. In order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and the evolving market conditions, Nintendo will update timings at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 is unchanged. So effectively, because of the Trump administration's tariffs, which went in, I think. Listen, guys, I learned about tariffs yesterday, but effectively, more money for stuff outside of the country and whatever. And a lot of the tariffs impacted Vietnam, which is where Nintendo produces Switch 2s. So effectively, they're trying to figure out like the pricings after that. And that's the thing. The pricing I thought was adjusted for the tariffs. Turns out this is pre-tariff pricing, and
well,
it begins to ask the questions like, are they increasing the console price? And the fact that they're taking down the pre-orders tells me that it's very much going to change the price, at least in the United States.
I don't know if we fully know if it's complete pre-tariff pricing, because I think there could have been something baked in there, but I think they're just so much more than anyone had predicted. It's like maybe if it was 5 or 10% more, that was kind of baked in to you could take the hit. But it's like 46% at Vietnam. That's like astronomical, to the point where it's just you can't do the original pricing even with it if it had the 15% tariffs baked in, because it's not that.
yeah, I mean, I think people were a little upset too at the end of the direct video that they didn't announce the price, and I think they didn't announce the price on the direct because they didn't know what the price was until the last second. Like I do think that they were constantly analyzing what the market was
conditions.
doing, beforehand. But yeah, no one expected this because, listen, I'm going to get political for 2 seconds. No one expected our president to use ChatGPT to determine the prices of tariffs. That's all I'll say. It's
He's gone too far, crossing the gamers.
Yeah.
I was
I
fine
mean-
with everything else up until now, but now my video games.
It is kind of interesting though that like this is the first, like there are a lot, like you just said, Wolf, like I didn't know what tariffs were until yesterday. It is very
I'm not
interesting to
stupid,
think.
thank God.
Well, no, but like it's very interesting to think that like Nintendo of all corporations are going to be kind of like the beacon to get people to kind of pay attention to what's going on in politics,
They
because it's
crossed
like,
the gamers, man. They
yeah.
went too far.
So I mean that'll just be interesting. But yeah, I really don't know. I mean, listen, it's not like they took them down to make the price go down. It's
Oh.
just a matter of like how much more, and it's only the U.S. as far as we know, because like
Oh yeah, that's what they
they
said. European and every other territory, those pre-orders is still going up April 9th.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So,
Even we're getting pre-orders the same day.
Can you send me a Switch too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how many of y'all are gonna cross? for.
Yeah, really. I'll cross the border for a Switch 2. Fuck yeah.
Dude, border agents are just going to be like, what's in that bag? What's in that box? You can't bring that back over here.
No, please, I need a Switch 2.
Yeah, I really don't know what the new price will be. I mean, it's easy to say at least 500. There's a lot of like I don't think you can one for one go, oh, well 10% to 40%, so add an extra 30% and now the console's going to be $800. I genuinely I think that is insane
Yeah.
to just do the one-to-one math like that, but I don't know what that new price is going to be, and maybe it is $800 to really just put like a make a point of like these tariffs are insane, and and you could argue that like that kind of pressure is going to be why the tariffs are going to be repealed, and it goes into a very more political conversation, but
He just said he's not going to repeal the tariffs.
yeah, I mean, listen, he
Well,
says
okay.
a lot of things. He says a lot of things, so it's
Yeah, all I'll say is like the tariffs kept changing like every like 2
right.
weeks.
He's
So, whatever
already
the price.
he's already backed out of the tariffs twice.
Actually, I do want to point this article out from Reuters. Reuters, that's how they pronounce
Yep.
it. Trump, Vietnam's Lam agreed to discuss tariffs deal to meet soon. U.S. President Donald Trump and Vietnam's leader To Lam agreed on Friday to discuss a deal to remove tariffs. Both leaders said after a phone call that Trump said was very productive as Hanoi escalated its campaign to dodge duties of 46. So, guys, gamers rose up. They told Vietnam, hey, let's figure this out, guys. So maybe.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
Vietnam's like, please don't move back to China to produce these switches. We really like that you're here now.
Yeah, exactly. I assume this is a case where like they're maybe trying to figure out a way to do some type of deal where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, Vietnam doesn't get nearly as affected by tariffs.
And I do think Nintendo knows they can't go above 550, maybe 600. Because I think they know the value of it.
600. There's no chance.
I think 550 is kind of their cap. And I think even they know that, which is making the decision harder, because I think they know the value of their hardware, and I think they know how people compare it to other pieces of hardware that are more powerful, but the Switch just offers more things and the exclusives. But I think they also know that there's a limit to that if they want to capitalize on sales and just make it a successful console generation. Because if they do it 800 now, it's probably going to very much hamper their next 8 years of a console generation. And I think they'd rather even take a smaller hit, even if they have to raise the price to 550, and still take a bit of a hit in the short term, or in the long term, it's still just not going to hamper their generation as much. Because if it's 800, it'll sell half the amount of Switches they've ever sold by the end of the generation. Because that's just an absurd price for the piece of hardware that it is. But if they do 550, and I even think like the insane thing could happen, they lower the price eventually. I don't think as much as people think, and they've shown some anti-consumer things these last couple days, Nintendo doesn't want to raise the price of this system. I think 450 was already pushing it for them. I think if they had I think 550 is kind of where they can go. Because I genuinely don't think Nintendo wants to make an $800 system or $600 system, because they're smart. And
500 is still like 550 is still more expensive than a PS5. Like,
yeah, and
crazy.
that's
now.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
that's the thing. They're probably gonna raise those prices too.
And that's the interesting thing is if Microsoft and PlayStation don't, like, let's say theoretically it's 550 and Microsoft and PlayStation don't raise their prices. GTA 6 is about to, we're about to hear about GTA 6 at some point in the next year. To Switch 2, I would be shocked. Again, I'll put it out there. I will be shocked if it is available on the Switch 2 at launch. And if you have a console that is more expensive than the other ones and it can't play the biggest game of the most anticipated game of all time, I don't care what Mario game you have on there, the average audience is going to give you the middle finger and go, I'm going to go buy a PlayStation. So yeah, it puts them in a weird spot if they make that move too early.
Yeah, and I like Nintendo. It can be very anti-consumer in numerous ways, but they are very smart with what they do. They only raise the Mario Kart price because people will buy it. They won't raise the Switch 2 to a price that's just going to completely hinder their entire generation in the long run. They just won't do it. At least that's what I believe.
Well, to figure all this out, we're gonna update. I am signing up for the Reuters Tariff Watch newsletter, so I'll be your ground floor reporter there. It is
Wolf,
interesting.
please keep politics out of my video game podcast. Thank you.
You're right. You're right. My apologies. My apologies. The
Wolf is about to.
BEI.
He's going to be in the White House press room soon. But
What am I gonna ask? Can you please
Oh my God.
lower the Nintendo Switch 2, please, Mr. President? I beg
Could you imagine like the White House secretary like, yes, Mr. In Charge Wolf, Slice of Gaming podcast. Thank you, Mr. President.
What's your favorite video game?
Dude, that'd be insane.
It is fascinating. I saw this idea roll around. I don't know what you guys think. What if like they said, "Hey, we're gonna increase the price to 500 in the US, but we're gonna reduce the price to Mario Kart to 70."
they won't do that.
No
You just
way.
can't-
I just.
No chance.
No way.
I think the most you're getting, because I do think Nintendo also knows how to throw a bone. It's been a long time since the 3DS, but they did do that. I think the most you're gonna do is, the Switch, like Welcome to Switch 2 or whatever, will be a free download on the eShop until they end up lowering the price in the long run. Like it won't be a forever thing.
So
But if you
funny,
buy
dude.
But if you buy a Switch 2 between this date and this date, you will get that for free. I think that's the
Hell
most they're
yeah.
gonna do.
Boys, I saved $6.
Let's go.
God
I,
bless him. God bless
but I
him.
think that is the most they're gonna do because I also think they know they can't just say, "Oh yeah, the price is just going up," and that's not like the most horrendous. So you're gonna get this, or you might get 3 months of Switch Online or something. Like there will be something that they throw in there. That might be optimistic, but I do think Nintendo needs this to be not like obviously they have a lot of money, but they know with the Wii U how that fumbled, and I really don't think this is going to be another Wii U. I just don't think anything points to this being another Wii U. Box art is like Switch 2. But I think they know
We'll
they
talk
need
about the
to
box art.
throw they need to like PRs like you got to throw them a bone. You can't just like okay, we're already having this backlash because of game prices. You got to throw them a bone if the system price also goes up, and I think they will.
Yeah, very interesting. Lots of new tariffs. Shout outs to tariffs. I don't know what they are, but hey, good to learn about them. Moving into our next story. Well, next story in the Nintendo world. We still got a lot of shit to go over. Nintendo Switch 2 game key cards. This shit pisses me off. So Nintendo Life put this. Gavin Lane. We didn't put this in Nintendo Direct, yeah, okay. They're called game key cards, but don't get too excited. From what we can gather, they're essentially codes in a box, although it seems that Nintendo managed to make even those a little bit worse for lovers of physical game. According to the description, game key cards will unlock a download of the game when you insert the cart, which looks like a standard Switch 2 cartridge, and connect to the internet. However, as per the title, the card itself is merely a key and doesn't hold the game data, at least not the full game data, yet it must be inserted in the Switch 2 card slot if you want to play the digital games. So it's effectively DRM. They bringing back DRM. Obviously I don't like this. This a lot of people were worried at first that this was going to be all games. It's just effectively what the games that were if you remember like the requires a download internet connection type games, that type of thing. But I think the fact that they effectively created a new card for it does incentivize developers like, hey, you can do it on this, which kind of kills the physical value of all these games because you put it in once, it's like you can never trade that to a friend. You can never really give it to anyone else. It is just yours. It's effectively what Xbox was doing in 2013, and everyone got mad at them, and now Nintendo's doing it, and because it's a lot more normalized, people just aren't nearly as aggressive. So yeah, I hate this. It's not all games, like I said. Cyberpunk actually is going to be fully on the cartridge. Elden Ring isn't. That's a game key card for some reason. So that makes no fucking sense because that is a PS4 video game. I don't know how much you guys have to say on this. I just really, really hate this shit. I cannot stand it.
Yeah, I can understand definitely why you hate it, but I think like I'm digital only and have been since the start of the Switch and PS5, so it doesn't affect me much. And I do think they're just rebranding kind of what already has been a thing for a while, but also the rebrand makes it more public and there's more like why are you doing this, which makes sense.
It is, yeah, no. So it's just like they are effectively like wanting to move developers to this.
Mhm.
And I've always said, here's the thing. I want to point something out. As a physical collector, as someone who values physical games, I'm fine with digital games existing. I want digital games to exist. That's awesome that games can be bought digitally. I have always just been one for options. It's like allow a physical
Yeah.
version and a digital version. And like I want to point something out. Like I'm fine with like indie games being digital. But like when Microsoft can't release Indiana Jones on a disc, sorry, Bob.
No, you're
It's-
fine. It's valid.
It's insane to me that like why even release a physical version? And that's my thing with these game keycards. It's like I want you guys to know. I was like, I'm gonna buy Elden Ring on Switch because I want to own a version of Elden Ring on the go. And it's like, no, actually, it's the game key card. It's like I completely lost all interest in owning that version of the game. It's like I don't need it anymore. It's just very aggravating to me.
Yeah, I do want to point out this is, I mean, you brought up Xbox. Like, this is what Xbox has been doing for a while now, where you get the disc, you put it in, you download the entire game, and then you cannot play it unless you have the disc. Now, why this is interesting too? Well, actually, no, this is not the same thing, but it is interesting. I'll bring this up now. Today, it was discovered that apparently, I believe it was Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Those those Switch 2 versions are going to be the Switch 1 cartridge with the upgrade code.
Yeah.
So
I have the story there.
Okay.
Wario 64, according to a Nintendo UK support rep, Switch 2 editions of physical games like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and Metroid Prime 4 contain a download code for the upgrade pack, along with the Switch 1 version of the cart. Customer support kits sometimes give incorrect info, so hoping this is inaccurate since the fine print on the boxes does not mention download required, and it's weird they would be codes when Nintendo is pivoting to game key cards instead of download codes of retail games. So there is this weird situation. Obviously, Nintendo support has been wrong in the past about stuff like this, but if I
Yeah, 'cause that one-
that makes no sense. If I buy a Metroid Prime 4 Switch 2 edition, and then it's like, well, download the Switch 2 patch, that is psychotic. That is
Yeah.
actually just garbage.
and it not only does it lose a value immediately, but you can't call something a Switch 2 game when you give them the Switch 1 version. Like, I don't care about the download code like that. So that is stupid. I just want to bring that up because I know that was kind of
No, it was
recent news. But as far as the game key goes, obviously, yeah, I'm not going to try and defend it. I'm just pointing out that it's not like Nintendo's the one bringing it back. But also, like, Switch 1 games, they didn't have the game key cards, but they did, like, Wolf, I'm sorry, your goat's Metal Gear Solid. Like,
no, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, the download codes have been a thing. This is a rebranded version. But like I said earlier, it's like this incentivizes developers to utilize this version way more.
Yeah, I guess I'll we'll have to see how this plans out because I think when I saw this, and plus, granted, at face value, I thought this was going to be all physical games. I think a lot of people said that.
Yeah,
the problem is some people still think that, and that's where it gets annoying because it's like, all right, you see one piece of news and you don't further research it. You should educate yourself, but also too, Nintendo should have made this more clear. So it's a bit on both sides, but the fear mongering that all Nintendo games are going to be like this. I think this is just a way for third parties to not have to comply with the game cartridge requirement and make it easier to get their games on the system. I do not think this will be as big of a deal until we see a Nintendo first party game do it. When that happens, I am all the way on board with no, this is bad, this is stupid, especially for Nintendo, who has such a very big presence in physical media and has always been one of the main.
Me and Jack were talking about it. We were surprised that Nintendo is the one that's doing this because their games still majority sell physical. You look at sales charts, it's like 55-45. It's leaning towards digital closer and closer, but most people still buy games physically on Nintendo products. So I don't get it at all, personally.
But also, even to say all that, even though I'm giving leeway, listen, Cyberpunk and the DLC is on a game cartridge. No, this shouldn't be a thing. If CDPR can get Cyberpunk and the
Laziness.
DLC on a game cartridge, no developer has an excuse. None of them.
It's 100% laziness. It's cost cutting because they don't want to buy the higher gigabyte cartridges. It's shit like that, and it's like I can't fucking stand it.
Yeah, the issue I have, this is something like is more personal for my case, where like I do have some physical, some digital games, but lately I've been borrowing games from my local library, and now if a game like Metroid Prime 4, the Switch 2 version, if they get it, they're not actually getting the Switch 2 version, right? Because it's a download code separate. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it'll be a problem where if I borrow it, put it in the Switch 2, now it'll be like, oh, you have to pay $10 to upgrade. Otherwise, you play the Switch 1 version, which,
Yep.
it doesn't make any sense why they're doing this.
Dude, I had an issue. This is completely unrelated. This is a very like similar thing where I bought Sonic Origins Plus on Amazon, but they sent me the UK copy. And what happened was that the Plus content isn't on the disc; it's a download code. And I tried to put the download code on the PS5, and it's like, well, there's a UK code. You can't accept it on the US store. And I'm like, what the fuck? I spent more money on something that's not even on the disc. So yeah, that's just like they don't want you to share your games, Jet. Keep it. You don't sell it. They're trying to kill the used game market.
Yep.
And it's fucking annoying. Moving into accessories, we got some accessory prices. Shout outs to Jordan Midler for pulling this all up. The Switch 2 Pro controller, this thing looks sick. They actually added back paddles on like what is effectively a base controller. Obviously, it's a Pro controller, but like it's the base controller. Everyone's buying a Pro controller. I'm into the back paddles. $80 for the Pro controller, which that does put it in line with PS5 and Series X controllers. I think, right? Bob, are Series X controllers 80?
No. Only DualSense.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, shout out to Xbox. And then the Nintendo Switch 2 camera is $60. Sure.
It was 50, I thought.
That's 50.
Oh, it's 50? Okay, I guess this article's outdated. It is funny though. I was like, oh, that's cheaper than I expected. Which I'm so used to the nickel and diming at this point. The GameCube controller is about 65. And then what's it? So I don't know about this part exactly, but the micro SD express card with the 256 gigabytes will be $55.
Yeah, I
At
bought
least
the 512 already.
Oh, okay.
They're
Yeah,
not cheap.
Maybe that's the Nintendo version, because I mean, just like the SSD market, there will be a billion of them, and prices will fluctuate. So,
Yeah.
I would say wait. Like, I think it'll be very hard for any of us, especially with how expensive these games are, to have all these games in the internal 256 at launch. My recommendation would be wait for a sale on these SD cards, because this will probably be the most expensive they'll ever be.
I already bought the 512.
Well, Bench.
Wait, Bench, did you
They're all
buy the
sold out, by
512?
the way, everywhere.
Yeah,
What?
I mean that makes sense too.
512 was 100 and 1 terabyte's 200.
Hey,
Oh my God,
with the tariffs, you're gonna be spending more. I think, right? Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I bought it now.
And then our next thing, guys, if you didn't know, Nintendo wanted to get you away from physical. Well, we got the first look at the Nintendo Switch 2 game box art. Obviously, it's a visual thing. I recommend looking it up for yourself. Oh, it's so ugly, man. It's so bad. It's the box art, but then just this big fat border on top that says Nintendo Switch 2. And it's even worth with the Switch 2 editions. Guys, look at the Metroid Prime 4 Switch 2 box art and try not to throw up, because there is a literal legal notice at the front. A terms and conditions sign up at the front.
Yeah.
It is
So I get
horrific.
So I get what they're trying to do with, like, when you go to a Walmart or Best Buy, you see, blue means Sony, green means Xbox, red means Nintendo, and like they want to make it apparent from the top, but like they kind of picked a better design.
Yeah, they want to make sure it's like, oh, these are Switch 2 games. Like they want to point it out, but it's like I feel like I already saw mock-ups on Twitter of like way, way better versions of this.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Xbox tried to change the Series X box art, and it took them like 4 tries to get it right. And ironically, they just copied what Nintendo Switch 1 did, and now Nintendo Switch 2 is copying what Xbox originally did, minus the legal notice at the bottom. Which, like,
Yeah.
I guess that must. Someone said that there's like a new. It must have been like an EU rule that like the legal notices need to be on the front or something, because it's like you do realize a box is 2-sided. Well, technically it's 4-sided, but like there's a front and a back. Like, why can we not put these things on the back anymore? Like, are consumers really that stupid that they can't turn it around? The answer is yes, but like I don't know. I just want nice
I
box
want
art.
pretty box art.
Also, Wolf, I don't know if you saw the picture earlier this morning, but like apparently the red spines are gone, so they're all like colorful spines. Like it's the box art
what, really?
bleeding into the spine, and it's like, oh, I think I hate that too, actually.
I actually haven't seen that. I need to look that up.
I'll tag you in it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Breaking news: Microsoft has created an AI-generated replica of Quake 2 that you can play in browser. Every frame is created on the fly by an AI world model. Thank you, Jeff Keighley, for that one. All right, moving into the next story. Nintendo will sell a cheaper $330 Switch 2 in Japan that's region locked. Oh wait, Bob sent me the image. I gotta see this. Let me see. Oh, what? You know,
I don't
it'll
know.
take
I don't know.
adjusting.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It'll take adjustment. I'm kind of into. I'm always down for more art. I don't know. We'll have to see. That is weird though. But yeah, this so in Japan there will be a Switch 2 version that's $330, but it is a Japanese language system that is region locked. And I look at this as they want to try to get as many Switch 2s sold in Japan as possible, and because of how weak the yen is right now and how prices have gone up in that region in like certain ways, they're like, well, we want to try to get it to Japanese consumers as cheaply as possible, but we also don't want people to import it, and this is kind of their in-between, like, middle ground version of that idea. So I just found that really interesting as something that they kind of... The pricing is very fluctuate when it comes to this console, to say the least.
I actually think like the Japanese exclusive Switch is kind of smart on their part, so people aren't exporting them, and scalpers aren't going crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw the meme that was like, wait, you're telling me the Switch 2 is cheaper in Japan? Fuck it, I'm learning Japanese now. It's a good version, good way to do it. And then next, Chris Scullion posted this one. Nintendo Switch 2 home screen looks similar to the Switch home screen. And I don't know if you guys saw the Switch 2 home screen and eShop, the exact same. And we were all hoping for a design revamp. It's like, nope. Now, this doesn't deconfirm themes, obviously, but it is that, like, they're doing the same thing, so they're probably still not going to go crazy with the themes.
I will say I like, instead of like the box squares for the game icons, I like the rounded edges a lot more.
The rounded edges look good, but it's also like, man, it's still boring.
Well, also higher resolution game icons.
Well, yeah, I'd hope so.
So, like, you guys are gonna apologize to Xbox after dunking on them last week for this, right?
No, it's still
Right.
boring. It's still boring for both of them.
I mean, I understand. I will say there's no excuse not to have themes now. Just make themes, Nintendo, please, for the love of
You
God.
have the RAM.
Do it through your like silver virtual coin system. I don't care. Just do it, because yeah, that's dumb. But at the same time, like, it works. So I don't know why they need to change it.
Yeah, and they need to change it because it makes me mad.
True.
They also had Dana Pena actually asked the most important question over at Gamertag Radio. I had the opportunity to ask the Nintendo Switch 2 development team about the eShop. I asked whether this version would be faster or remain the same. I'm pleased to confirm that this new version will be faster. In fact, improving the eShop speed was top priority during development. Here's the thing. I'll believe it when I see it. Because maybe internally it's like, wow, it's really fast. But then the moment hentai golfs start appearing on the eShop, that's when it starts slowing down. So hopefully, because oh my god, have you guys tried to use the Switch eShop recently? It is hell.
Yes.
I actively try to avoid it.
Yeah.
But I think that is absolutely everything, boys. We have talked a lot about the Switch too, but I guess it's like last questions. Are you getting one immediately, day one, later on? How are we feeling about the console now?
If I don't have a Switch 2 at launch, it means I'm dead.
Fair
I
enough.
I
That's pretty much
do.
an answer.
Yeah, I'm still really excited. I kind of set aside money for this to the point where hopefully the new tariff pricing won't screw me. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm still excited. But it will be interesting. I'm definitely not like as happy go lucky. But will be very curious how this launch and just like uncertainty rolls out.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of the mind of like, I was gonna buy it regardless because I am a sucker, and I just want a new Switch in general because of how inky the old Switch one has become. I am just of the frustrating aspects of this console. It's like I expect it with each new console generation, but it's just more and more like, man, it's like you guys are really nickel and diming me, and it's just something to expect out of Nintendo now. But I am still like Donkey Kong, cannot fucking wait. GameCube, I cannot fucking wait. Like Kirby, I'm down for. FromSoft is coming in. Like I have the stuff I care about. I'm still getting in. Mario Kart, my god, Mario Kart. But yeah, Jet, you said pretty adamantly like before, like you're not gonna be able to buy this thing too. God bless Canadian prices, man.
Yeah, no, it is like yeah, it's gonna be even after taxes here, $790, $800 nearly for the thing.
Jeez.
So yeah, most probably, unless there's like a decent trade-in deal for the Switch one, I'm probably gonna hold off.
I saw
Yeah,
GameStop is what was it, 150 for a Switch One, which
yeah,
yeah, it's not the best down payment in the world.
yeah, but
You have to do the transfer data too, which is like that makes it kind of annoying.
yeah, yeah, that's the other thing. Although I am hoping next year, because I mean, I play mostly unhandled. I'm hoping there's not only a Switch 2 Lite, but also maybe some special editions, Zelda Pokemon edition. I think that it'd be cool to have like a special edition.
Yeah, no, that'd be a possibility as well. I mean, listen, Joe, worst case scenario, I'll come over to Canada. I'll let you play Donkey Kong with me.
Let's go.
But yeah, that's all the Nintendo news. Let's move into, let's be honest, two headlines. Very, very light news week outside of the Nintendo stuff because obviously I think a lot of companies were trying to avoid like doing anything crazy. Noble brought this up internal memo about the changes at Ubisoft Quebec said I'm not going to try to pronounce it. And Sherbrooke Studios will move to a new entity. Montreal getting spread between old and new Ubisoft. Toronto, Winnipeg, as well as Red Storm and Blue Mammoth will stay at the old Ubisoft. Uh so effectively they're splitting Ubisoft in a weird way. We know about the Tencent diversion that happened, which was like what, like they owned stakes in 25% stake in all their franchises, or they created a new sub branch of Ubisoft that owns all the IPs. I mean, I guess at this point it's like we are in the middle of this Ubisoft restructuring. I don't know how much we really have to say about this specific restructuring plan, but it seems like Ubisoft is very much changing in a big way. And I think by the end of the year, they will be like a much different company than I think we're looking at them now.
Yep.
I wasn't able to mention this last week, but I genuinely think just overall with what's going on with Ubisoft and Tencent, this is a Chapter 11 bankruptcy reorganization in all but name, and like the Tencent one, I think is going to become new Ubisoft, and genuinely, I don't think the other like whatever's on the other side of that split, I don't think is around by the end of the year, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then final story. What's it called? Ben over on Twitter brought this up. Justin, Take-Two CEO, has confirmed in an interview Grand Theft Auto 6 will have a shorter marketing window. Quote, we found that the better thing to do is to provide marketing materials relatively close to the release window to create that excitement. Now, obviously, there's not a lot to the actual news story, but it does bring into question this idea of Rockstar and GTA 6, the way they're marketing this game. We've been waiting for a trailer 2 for a while now, and it seems like their whole plan is, oh, we want to market it closer to launch. I'm still of the mind that this does come out this year, but we got someone who's very adamant that it's not coming out this year, and I want to know, what does this do for you in the idea, Bob, that GTA 6 not really? Are you still on that?
Yeah,
side
buddy,
of
keep
the-
huffing that copium, all right? It's
Oh
coming
my!
in 2026.
Just
No,
you
but
wait. Just you
I
wait.
do like. I think I think they're right. I think the video game industry as a whole has realized, like, remember when The Last of Us, was it The Last of Us 1 or 2 was coming out and they sent everyone to like a ski resort to like play the game? Like that era is so beyond gone in like marketing terms. Like you don't need to if you're genuinely like trying to market the game, like I'm not talking about like, at a developer conference or a direct like have a new trailer. Like if you're actively trying to market your game for release, yeah, I think we all realize by now short time window is the right move, is the most cost effective move. And you can just, instead of having 10 commercials over a year, you can have 100 commercials over, 6 months. And it can be just as effective, especially in like, honestly, the TikTok era of just like short attention spans. Like you start marketing a game a year out, everyone's going to be like, cool. Like this does nothing for me, but you start marketing it a lot closer. It's like, okay, this can build up anticipation. But as far as like, is it still? Does this point to it still could come out this year? I mean, sure, but I just still have my doubts.
Oh, I think it's this year for sure. I think it'll be summer, like another reveal, and it likes new trailers every month for a bit. I guess. Do you want to move into what we've been playing?
Yeah.
Okay. I've
I
got to
guess.
leave pretty soon to see the GOAT, the Minecraft movie, so I'll talk about Lies of P for a bit. And I honestly, like, it's that solid, like, 8 out of 10 game that you'd think it would be. So far, like, I'm 14 hours in at Chapter 9, and I'd probably, like, just higher on the end of 8 out of 10. It's just, I just never realized not, because this is the first non-From Software Souls-like that I've played. And I think it just From Software has some secret sauce that's like just everything is a tiny bit better, but enough to matter in a From Software game that it's like they just know how to nail it, and it's pretty magical. So playing Lies of P, and I'm still really enjoying it. I'm whacking everything with a big ass great sword, but it also at the same time has weirdly made me respect From Software more, just because how they pull stuff off.
Yeah, no, I think it's you look at like what From Software is like level design and anime design, or like their art design, and I think to me, Lies of P is the closest a studio has gotten to reaching those From Software heights, but it's just barely. Like there is something missing there, and I think a big major complaint that me and Fusion had, I don't know if you've encountered it yet, Bench, was enemy bouncing. Now, granted, you're playing it after a bunch of patches, but
It's been patched a lot.
yeah, but the boss balancing at launch was disgusting. It was ridiculous.
Like, if you were gonna replay it, now would be the time, because I don't think I've spent over 40 minutes on a boss, and that 40 minutes was the first time I've done that last night against the swamp monster. I think you might know who I'm talking about.
Piece of shit. Fuck that boss. That's my least favorite boss, man.
Wait, the
Yeah,
swamp.
that
Which
was
one was the
like
swamp one?
Where it was like kind of
the
in it was like it was inside a like train, I think, or some type of.
no, it was inside of like this like thing and a giant glob, and then it takes over this piece of like armor,
Yeah, that's
and then
what
it's like big and
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that one
That
wasn't fun.
That was an awful.
yeah, that was a little difficult, and it took me about 40-45 minutes. But other than that, I think like the Puppet King took me maybe 20-25 minutes. The Victor Fighter dude took me maybe 10 minutes. Nothing super difficult like a Sekiro where I spent 5 hours on mission.
Yeah, that's the problem. It wasn't even like the bosses were that difficult necessarily. It's just they were really badly balanced, and it's
Yeah.
like I feel like it's like, man, you guys gotta like figure this out, because it's like difficulty isn't the only thing that makes these games special.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I like the setting is really cool. I got to give a shout out to the
Yeah.
setting.
The
Yeah.
Pinocchio
So,
story.
but
Really
Great
cool.
art design.
Love that.
we all continue on, but I'm going to go see the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, have fun, Bench. I'm gonna watch that tonight too. You guys transitioned to what we've been playing, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I was in the restroom. So I have been playing. Man, Bob with the Bob. You know what bothers me is on the dock you don't change it to Times New Roman. I gotta deal with ugly ass Arial.
I just hit enter thinking it would stay the same font. I didn't realize it like defaulted to whatever the standard one was. My bad.
Yeah,
I really didn't realize it.
I'll talk about what I've been playing. I've been checking out the first Berserker Kazan. I actually didn't think I'd play this, but it was getting high reviews, and I was in the mood for like a new game. It's been a while, and it's like, yeah, this looks like a fun Souls like. So this is a Souls like. It's made by God, I forget what studio. I have the box right here. Neo People. And published by Nexon. It's in the DNF Dual Universe, so whatever the hell that means. But it's interesting. So it's effectively they do this kind of really cool, like a I don't know how you explain it. CG art style, not CG. It's a very painterly art style. It's a very cool looking art style with like almost CG visuals. I'm into it. It looks beautiful. Um, but the actual game itself is awesome. It's a tough as nails Souls. Like it's actually really difficult. I've been at that point where I am spending multiple hours on boss fights, which I love. I think the actual balancing is pretty decent too. But granted, I've been playing after like there have been some updates already to some of these bosses, and I've definitely noticed it at points where the way people talk about certain bosses is like, no, that wasn't as hard for me. But yeah, this is a great solid Souls like. I think the level design is very lacking. It's effectively straight corridors without much real intrigue in the way that they kind of design them. There isn't that like really special FromSoft like magic where it's like, oh, the way like I grab a new item, like the way they kind of set up like enemy encounters works. It's like, no, it's basically a hallway, corridor, enemies, hit them with your sword. And the actual combat is really sticky, it's strong, everything feels visceral. The way like you parry is very aggressive. It's not Sekiro parry levels, but it's pretty close. I think they kind of nailed down like what a good parry feels like. And there's also different types of parries for different situations, which I'm also a big fan of. So you always have to think about it. But one thing I thought was really cool about this game is when it comes to the boss fights, you'll be dying to them a lot. They're really difficult, but you keep your XP and also you get XP. So every time you die, it's like, oh, okay, you get 500. What is effectively the souls for this game, and you can use that to level up if you die enough times. And you always pick up your current XP, so you can like go back and like level up. You can get skill points as well. You always get skill point XP even after you die. And it's like I think that's an idea where it's like there's not much from like non FromSoft Souls like that. I'm like, oh, FromSoft should pay attention to that. But I think that's one idea where it's like FromSoft should think about doing something like that because it is cool to basically always have a reason to kind of go, hey, I've grown stronger. I can figure out this boss now, that type of thing. And you're getting stronger both from a like gameplay standpoint, like you are getting higher like skill levels, but also you're learning the boss fights and the patterns. And it's like that's a good middle ground. I'm into that a lot. And it is hard as nails, but there is also an easy mode if you want it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm oh, sorry, go
real
ahead.
quick, I just want to kind of expound on a couple things. Going to the like the XP for boss fights, it's like yeah, FromSoft's not fooling anyone if they think, oh yeah, you're definitely not. If you can't keep a boss, you're not going to just go grind somewhere. Like I would much rather keep trying to beat the boss than have to stop, go somewhere, grind souls, level up. Like no, like let
Yeah.
me, let me level up through playing the game, and not have to backtrack like that. Like I do think that's a good design. But also, I mean, we were just talking about Liza P and like how that is like the best, not from soft Souls like game. Where do you think Kazan kind
Uh,
of sits?
I'm still early, so I think the big problems. The story is it's there. It is very boring. It's very like dry. There's not really much to it. It's the case of like so immediately I stopped caring, and I tried to pay attention. Listen, guys, I tried to pay attention to these cutscenes, but they are so drab and uninteresting that I can't really find myself like invested in what the world or characters are. So that's one thing. And also just like enemy and art design, like that type of thing. At least like just from a design standpoint, because I do think the game's really pretty when it comes to like the art style, but the actual like designs of everything, it's like it's basic. It's like one of the bosses is like a very big lizard. And it's like, okay, well, you guys didn't really do much here. But I think to me, the way like Liza P nails the aesthetics. This is the game that nails the combat. And I'm like, ooh, maybe put those two together. And it's like that is like kind of the FromSoft level Souls like that I really want.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping I'm still early on. Like
I beat the fourth boss. But yeah, I'm hoping to beat that probably in the next couple weeks, hopefully. I haven't been looking forward to that Blueprints game that's coming out next week. Ooh, that looks good. So I'm hoping to maybe try to get a big dent to this game before that comes out. But Bop, as per usual, you got your big list of games.
Yeah.
As we
Oh,
always have.
we didn't mention it, but I mean, shout out South of Midnight reviews dropped.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put that on the doc. I'm sorry for about that. Let me.
No, you're good. I forget what the is it. I think last time I saw it was a
It is
79
at
on
a
open.
78.
Oh, okay.
Which
Which I
interesting.
think to talk about that one real quick, I think Wolf or no, it was me and Fusion that I
Came out.
think. And what's up?
Croc came out. Holy shit, I forgot.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, we really buried the lead on that one.
My bad, my bad.
No, you're
South
good.
of that. Yeah.
You're good. I think Wolf, you might have had that same opinion, but I know me and Fusion were talking about where it's like every trailer we saw, it's like, yeah, this story's going to hit, but people are not going to like the gameplay. And I think this story hits, and people do not like the gameplay. So,
Yep, you kind of nailed it.
yeah, I think it comes out. I know early access was yesterday, or I should say Friday, as of recording, but the full release, I want to say, isn't until Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
So I definitely want to check this game out just because it's on Game Pass, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally okay with like as long as it's not like actively holding me back, which it very well could. As long as the gameplay isn't actively holding me back, I do want to just like kind of like how I treated Hellblade, where it's like I just want to kind of experience the story. And it does sound like there's a great story to be told here, and like a fun world. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, as far as what I've been playing,
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
I when it comes to South of Midnight, it does look beautiful. I'm into that stop motion, but everything that was said in the reviews is like, yeah, this isn't one for me personally. But I hope it does well because it does.
Why? Because it's an experience game.
Well, not just that, but it's like everyone
No,
was
I
saying,
know.
it's like it's repetitive and the combat is boring, and the platforming isn't the best. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah,
I don't know
no.
what more there is for me. Jet, were
No.
you gonna check out South of Midnight?
Yeah, actually, yeah, because it is on Game Pass, I might download it, but like to tell you the truth, I'm not playing all that much aside from Balatro these days. Like,
Hey
I
man, that's good shit, man. That Balatro, that's the good shit.
I did a combo where I got I've seen people like go even crazier, but I was happy when I got 500,000 in one hand. I'm like, wow,
Oh, it's a good feeling, yeah.
Yeah, Jet. When you see an E on those numbers, that's when you know
Oh,
you've made it.
oh man, they use scientific notation for it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And before you get into it, Bob,
Yeah.
Croc is $30.
Whoo!
I mean, I'm buying it,
I
but
mean,
I'm not
yeah,
happy.
that's hilarious.
But yeah, no. Anyways, Bob, you got a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be quick. Celeste is. I'll start with that one because that's like definitely the oldest game on here. Where it was around the time that what was it, Earth? Or what was the game that got canceled by this
Oh,
dev?
Earthblade.
Earthblade, yeah. When that got canceled, I realized I like started Celeste a long time ago and never finished it. And also, it was a reason to pick up my Switch OLED again. So I went and played that. I did not realize how hard of a platformer that game
Oh,
is.
it's very difficult.
There were like I was like, whoa, I have not like I don't there was it's like that moment where you sit up in your gaming chair and like lock
Yeah.
in and like, whoa, I did not think like because I always hear like, yeah, it's like a really good story of like mental health and all these different things, and I always hear about that aspect, but no one really ever talks about the game in that regard. I'm like, dude, this is a
It's a
platformer like,
hardcore platformer. Yep.
and I definitely enjoyed my time with it. But yeah, I was just kind of like shocked. I was like, whoa, I really have to lock in. And there are some moments in that game, especially when you're like on a timer or something, where it's like, okay, this is hard. So that was a pleasant surprise.
Yep.
And it definitely like retroactively makes me bummed that they had to cancel Earthblade because yeah, I definitely want to try and keep
I'm
tabs on what
so
this
looking
team
forward to
does.
that game, man. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Um.
Random update again.
Yeah.
Croc has no platinum.
Okay.
This is disgusting information.
Anyways,
No, I just like this idea. I'm gonna review a game, another Croc news. Review a game,
more Croc
another
news.
yeah.
I haven't been able to talk about Croc much because surprisingly, people don't care about Croc as
What?
much as I
No.
do. But yeah, have you talked about Split Fiction on the podcast like after beating it?
No, I was gonna say that for the end.
Okay, cool, gotcha.
Yeah, let me because I wasn't sure because I can bring in some of your updated thoughts if you've played it more since then.
Split Fiction? I haven't touched
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah,
I'm playing
split
it
fiction.
too.
Oh, that's right. Okay, all right, that's
Yeah.
fine. Either way, so yeah, beat Celeste, beat Monster Hunter Wilds, like the campaign. Now I'm doing like end game stuff. The
Nice.
title update dropped yesterday, and I am not nearly the high enough hunter rank. Just to kind of like finish my thoughts off with the base game, like it, yeah, they're trying to tell a story, but it's still Monster Hunter at the end of the day. And
Of
honestly,
course.
it is genuinely so good. Like I'm having and I don't know if it's just because I'm really clicking with the insect glaive now, but game is super fun. I think they put some fun, twists on the monsters
Mhm.
and some of the actions and things you can do. And now it's like this is like my first time really entering the end game of a Monster Hunter game with friends who know what they're doing. And it's like we're getting into armor cores and high level ranks and all these like rare drops. And I'm like, hey guys,
Hold up, calm down.
what anyone want to give me a map of like what the hell's going on right now? So yeah, it's like the real game now starts. But yeah, no, Monster Hunter Wilds, I really enjoyed that one. I also rolled credits on Avowed. I know everyone's like, whoa, it's April, what do you mean you just rolled credits? I have had a really busy March and still kind of have a really busy April. So but that also kind of is why I'm a little bit bummed with Avowed, because I think the time off I had to take from it really just like when I came back, I was like, whoa, okay, maybe I'm really not invested in a lot of what's going on as much as I thought I was to start. Because I picked it back up in Shatterscarp, which is the third area.
Yeah.
And like I think I'm still very much in the camp of like this is a very solid like 7 or 8 out of 10. I haven't really decided on where I've landed on it, but like really solid 7 or 8 out of 10. Where like I was cool, like the ending scenes and like what choices and outcomes kind of affected kind of late game stuff and what you had to decide and some of the just like everything. The story wrapping up was I still really enjoyed it, but like the more I spend post Avowed, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Like I like it's not sticking with me. Like obviously I always talk so highly of Outer Worlds and we talked at Wolf, I think we nailed it that first impression. Like I like this game for reasons I don't normally like an Obsidian game.
Exactly.
And I think that's why it's not resonating with me, because the things I usually like in an Obsidian game are things that resonate with me just as a whole.
Yeah, and it's like that thing of like, hey, this combat is very fun. It is a very enjoyable like world to explore. I love that exploration. It's visually beautiful, but it's like the Obsidian style of writing and choice and consequence just is barely even noticeable at a point.
Yeah.
And it's like it's frustrating because it's like you guys are so good at that. But it's like you nailed everything else that you usually aren't good at, but the one thing you're usually good at, it's like you can tell this is a multiplayer game originally.
But at the same time, I'm really excited to see what this team makes next. Now that it seems like they stuck to a vision and could keep it, and if they can keep like the consistency in their dev team with this level of gameplay, if they can just figure out like the story stuff and really make a good single player game, that to me is very exciting. If that is like the direction they decide to take.
I weirdly am more excited for Outer Worlds 2 now because I'm like, oh, you guys are gonna make the combat way better now.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm sure they like definitely shared notes and everything on how to develop that. I also too I watched a lore video just to try and like figure out the other endings, and in this specific video, I don't know if you've seen it, Wolf. They talk about the backstory, especially in Pillars of Eternity 2, and just like wow, there was a big thing that I did not realize was going on that completely changed my perspective. It ended up justifying my decisions, and I don't know if we'll ever do a spoiler cast on Avowed, but
Definitely will.
it made me realize like, oh wow, I know you can just jump into Avowed, but there is a major plot point that really puts things into perspective. I was like, okay, did not know that. Kind of wish I did, but that's okay.
Interesting. Yeah, shout out to about I'm very curious how we feel about it by end of year. Like if we get
Yeah.
to the end of the year and we kind of just forget about it.
Yeah, I have a scary feeling that will happen, unfortunately.
But now you can
hey,
hype up Split Fiction.
so yes, yeah, Split Fiction. I was able to beat, I think, like a week and a half ago. Yeah, this is just a phenomenal video game. I mean, it is. I haven't really. I'm trying to be less game by game, making a list for like game of the year, and I'm just like putting it in a pile, and then I'll sort
Yeah,
it out
same
at the
here.
end of the year. But like, there's no way, like, I am not thinking about any game like I'm thinking about Split Fiction so far. So for me, it's definitely my early front runner where the gameplay, like it's like It Takes Two in the fact that like, you're getting new gameplay each level, they're always evolving, they're always doing something new, and they keep it fresh and they keep it interesting. The structure's a little bit different, but it's still in a way that keeps it fresh and fun. Um, and I think for me, the big thing is like the story is just it's a brand new story. Like you have to get interested and like connected to these characters, and they do such a good job at doing that. And they tell such a good story. And by the end of it, like it had me like on the verge of like getting emotional where I'm like, wow, I cannot believe in like 10 or so hours they were able to tell like this magnitude of a story. Because like we talked about it with It Takes Two, it's like, yeah, I'm not married or want to get a divorce or have a kid. Like that
Yes.
doesn't yeah, right, like that doesn't do anything for me. But for this, and even though I'm not an author or anything, but like I could really, they just do such a good job at connecting with the player, and like storytelling and pacing and everything. And I forget how much Fusion talked about this last week, and I know everyone's kind of talked about it. The last level is genuinely,
God,
like
dude,
it's
everyone's
got to be
talking.
the
I
best.
can't
It's
wait.
got to be the best level of a video game I've ever played. It just has to be. I don't know how else. Like I don't know anything that can come close to it.
God, man, the every way everyone talks about that last level, it just makes me like, oh, I wish me and my friend had better schedules because I would have gone through this game by now.
Yeah, no, same. Like I've been slowly progressing through it, and yeah, it is very good. But yeah, I haven't played with Nick in like over a week, but I want to get back into it because man,
It sounds really
it's
good.
yeah, it sounds like it's getting better.
There was never for me like a real slow part of the story because like I said, they do an interesting way to keep the pacing up and like go
Yeah, I was
go
curious.
go.
Is the pacing better than It Takes Two? Because me and my friend have definitely noticed the pacing issues of that
Yes.
game.
Yes, and I think the biggest thing is that without giving too much away, there's not really like a place where it's like a hub world and you stop and you have to do certain things and keep going. It's a
Yeah.
little bit more of horse blinders on where you're like constantly moving and going and you're not staying in one spot for a long period of time. There's still a little bit of that sprinkled throughout, but I think they're much more focused and deliberate on their level design for the better. And I think it's a lot. It brings to a better pacing, even if like overall the pacing's kind of predictable and it's like, okay, you're doing this now, you're
Yeah.
doing this, and that part makes sense. But yeah, the actual like moment to moment and level by level, it's very, I think it's way better done in this one. But
Awesome.
yeah, I cannot stress enough how, and I know what you're thinking too, because I said the same exact thing. It's like, dude, people are talking way too much about this last level. It is not going to live up to my expectations. I
Oh, I
genuinely
bet
don't.
I'll live up to it.
I genuinely don't think that there's a reality where that could happen for anyone.
I know I can't fucking wait. Joseph Ferris and that team, I mean, we got to start paying attention. They are an all-star development team at this point.
Yep.
Any game they're going to make, and dude, it's going to be on Switch 2 now. It's like more and more
Yep.
people are going to be able to play this game. I cannot wait to see what that team cooks up next, whatever it is. Last update on Croc. They added a Crocopedia with Crocumentary interviews and game design. You can see Croc's evolution from concept to popular icon. Let's fucking go, man. Can't wait to play that game. Anyways.
I need to get the Croc out of here.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Jat. Thank you, Bench, who went off to watch the Minecraft movie. God bless him.
Thank you, Jack Black.
Which, by the way, miniature news. That is already like the best, highest grossing video game movie on its first day.
That doesn't.
No.
That
First
doesn't.
day highest grossed.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And I know, like, obviously Mario movie. Like, how did that beat the Mario movie? Where it's like Minecraft just is so much more ubiquitous with like a larger age range of mostly kids. That like, yeah, that just doesn't surprise me. It doesn't matter how bad the movie is. Like my brother-in-law took my nephew over the weekend, and my brother-in-law was like, yeah, it was very much whatever. And I asked my nephew, he's like, oh my god, I loved it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, that checks out.
I will say they nailed the visuals of the Minecraft world. Like it's very like Uncanny Valley, but it's like, yep, those are Minecraft villagers.
Yep.
I'm so fucking excited to watch it. It's gonna be a trash fire.
Maybe I gotta go see it.
Yeah, same. I'm thinking about it.
Spoilercast? All I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode of A Slice of Gaming podcast, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, every single podcast platform. We're probably going to be on there. Follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming, and like the podcast on YouTube for any more vid content. I should be, hopefully, God bless, I get this avowed review out. I know it's been delayed for a while. A lot of life stuff happened, but I have a review ready.
You can do it.
Edited. Huh?
You can do it.
I respect. I've been wanting to jump into that video essay game. I got one kind of written up about From Software and their kind of like past with multiplayer experiences. So yeah, dude, I want to get back into this channel, get more stuff out there for you guys because the support has been overwhelming. Thank you all so much. And thank you yet again, Bob and Jot, for joining me today for a very, very special episode. But if you guys enjoyed, thank you so much for watching. Say goodnight, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
My economic policies do not reflect Slice of Gaming's economic policies as a whole.
We were sponsored
the
by
price.
G-Shen Pig.